Chapter 3346 Going back to the world. Pang. Hansen felt like his body was bounced away by an invisible power. He was suddenly separated from the holy soldier spirit. He was sucked by some power. It still doesn't work. Hansen felt rather disappointed. He had already hidden inside the holy soldier spirit, but he had still been bounced away. When the power was gone, Hansen used his Dongxian Sutra to look around. He went back to Soldier Weapon Sky, but that place was no longer Soldier Weapon Sky. This place is. When Hansen saw the place with some clarity, his face looked weird. Dust Sky. Hansen was no stranger to this place. He fought Berry Path God in Dust Sky. He had already shown up on the Geno tablet though. Dust Sky already had a leader. It was the vice president of the God Chaos Party, Berry Path God. He felt Dust Sky's power suppression was much stronger than when he arrived there the last time. After he entered, he was able to use some power. Now that he had landed, his power was already gone. Even the metal Jian body had returned to its original form. He could no longer use power as a commoner could. Why am I here? Dust Sky already has a leader. According to the theory, no other creature should be able to enter this place. Hansen knew this was some dire news. He and Berry Path God shared a nasty grudge. Now he was the leader of Dust Sky, and the ruling power of Dust Sky had increased. It made Hansen be nothing more than a commoner. If Berry Path God found him there, he would surely be killed. I could have landed anywhere, so why exactly was I brought to this place? Hansen patted his ass and stood up. He raised his head and was immediately stiff. A big golden bird was coldly staring at him. The bird's eyes were like blades. Hansen was shocked. He knew this big golden bird. When the 33 skies were recovered, that big golden bird was the first to enter the 33 skies. It had gone on to enter Dust Sky. But Dust Sky was owned by Berry Path God. It had failed its task, but it was still alive for some reason. It was either that or Berry Path God was willing to keep it alive. Now the big golden bird coldly stood atop a tree. It was not too big. It was only as tall as the average person. Its feather looked gold. It was a very unique creature. Hansen's heart jumped. This golden bird is strong. If my power is crushed by Dust Sky, it should suffer the fate too. What is your name, brother bird? Hansen asked with a smile as he looked at the golden bird. I am Goldwing Big Bird. Goldwing Big Bird coldly said. I am not brother bird. In this world, is there a Goldwing Big Bird? Hansen looked at Goldwing Big Bird with shock. The little red bird had the blood of birds, but it was not a Goldwing Big Bird. It had the blood of a bird fish. Even so, it was just a mix. The little red bird had more mixed blood than another type of bird called a phoenix. The phoenix and fish bird were mixed together. If it had been able to grow, it would have been as strong as a pure phoenix or a pure big bird. Goldwing Big Bird did not speak. It looked at Hansen coldly. Judging from its power, Hansen sensed that the creature was brewing it. It was going to attack any second now. It was a shame the Goldwing Big Bird's power was restricted by Dust Sky too. It did not need to save up anything. A random hit was able to destroy the sky and the ground. If I and the Goldwing Big Bird are at the same level, we cannot use powers. Does that mean I will be able to kill him now? Hansen looked murderous. The Goldwing Big Bird's break world rate was 95%. People could see it when they broke through the invisible barrier to the 33 skies. If it were out there, Hansen might not have been able to slay the beast. In Dust Sky, they all had ordinary bodies. To Hansen, who was good at fighting, it was a good thing. The Goldwing Big Bird thought the same thing. It looked at Han Sr. Even if its body could not be any greater than ordinary people, Hansen's presence and will were not something that could be eradicated. The Goldwing Big Bird knew Hansen was not an easy character to deal with, so it did not strike at once. A man and a bird stared at each other for a very long time. Finally they moved. The Goldwing Big Bird spread its wings, which were 21 to 24 feet wide. It flapped its wings to fly like gold lightning. In the past, the body of the Goldwing Big Bird would have already ripped space. In Dust Sky, it was like a common bird. It had to use its own body power to kill Hansen. Hansen jumped. He only jumped 6 feet high. That was the result of his body being so strong. Commoners would be considered supermen if they could only jump 3 feet high. He went right past the gold-winged big bird. Han Sen was in the air. His body drew a curve, not unlike a bird. He dodged the gold-winged big bird's strike and stepped onto the fiend's back. The gold-winged big bird looked like a dog that had just eaten shit. It put its head down on the ground. Han Sen did not hesitate. He brought his legs down like a bat leaks. The gold-winged big bird quickly reacted. After it hit the ground, the wings came back. It rolled away like a lazy donkey to avoid Han Sen. The blade-like wings of the bird were coming back for Han Sen, who was still in the midst of his strike, had not yet landed. Han Sen had not landed it yet, but there was a lot of strength in his waist. He put his hands on the wings of the bird and flipped it like a monkey. He used his power to jump up and ride atop the back of the gold-winged big bird. A man and a bird were fighting. If people from the main and the reverse universes saw this, no one would have believed it. This was a scary creature fight between creatures from 2 different universes. It was a brutal fight. Pang! Han Sen punched the face of the gold-winged big bird. Its mouth spewed gold-winged big bird blood. The gold-winged big bird was not dazed by this. It moved to wrap up Han Sen's body and roll. It put Han Sen down on the ground. Han Sen tried his best to grab the feathers of the gold-winged big bird. After a touch, a feather was plucked from the gold-winged big bird's neck. Arg! Han Sen and the gold-winged big bird squealed together. Han Sen almost broke his back while the gold-winged big bird had one of its feathers plucked. It really hurt. To scream was to just scream, but Han Sen was still able to stand back up. He used his back for support. He used his legs to bounce to the gold-winged big bird's belly. The gold-winged big bird barely reacted. Its claws tried to grab Han Sen's legs while its blade wings came for Han Sen's neck. A man and a bird were fighting. There was a sky full of feathers and torn clothing. Sometimes, screams rang out. With one punch for him, there was one feather from it. All of the punches were incredible to the point that blood covered the area. One could not tell which of the 2 had the advantage. Chapter 3347 Fighting for Cooking. The gold-winged big bird's body was very strong. It was no worse than Han Sen's body. A man and a bird were rolling around on the floor. In the end, Han Sen's endurance and might won out. Han Sen rode the gold-winged big bird, repeatedly punching the bird in the face. The gold-winged big bird lost many of its feathers. With one plucked from the left and one plucked from the right, bit by bit, its skin was showing. Blood seeped through. Eventually, the bird lost consciousness and was no longer able to fight back. It enabled Han Sen to keep punching it in the face and the neck without reprieve. The gold-winged big bird's head was too hard. Han Sen had to smack it for quite a while before realizing it wasn't going to work. That was why he moved to punch the creature's neck. After a dozen strikes, its neck bone broke. The beast stopped breathing. Killed Breakworld Beast, Gold-winged Big Bird. Found Breakworld Gene. In Dusk Sky, without their powers to boost them, lives were very weak. The gold-winged big bird had its neck broken, and that was enough for it to die. If they had fought outside, even cutting the creature in half would not have worked to slay the beast. Han Sen turned to lie on the ground. His body was very tired after the brawl. In a place like Dusk Sky, he felt as if he had gone to high land. He felt like a commoner, unable to adjust to the air. He felt tired. After resting for a while, Han Sen started to pick up the body of the gold-winged big bird. He dug into its body and pulled out the Breakworld gene. It was a tear-shaped gold crystal. It looked beautiful. Han Sen did not hesitate. He swallowed the Breakworld gene. He suddenly felt an amazing power surge through his body. It wiped away his tiredness. His body felt alive and vibrant again. Breakworld genes +10. An announcement sounded in his brain. The gold-winged big bird was special. It had given him 10 Breakworld genes. He chopped some wood out and cut the thighs of the gold-winged big bird. He cleaned it and cooked it. The flesh would not give him Breakworld genes, but it still tasted good. The gold-winged big bird was a Breakworld beast with a high Breakworld rate. It was more of a benefit than ever. Fortunately, this was Dusk Sky. Otherwise, cooking the meat of the gold-winged big bird would have been difficult. Being there made Han Sen realize that his life was a brittle thing. How can this body leave Dusk Sky? To stay here, Berry Path God is sure to find me. If that happens, I am definitely going to be killed. Hansen looked into the campfire and thought things over. After a while, Hansen raised his head. He wanted to see if the gold-winged big bird's leg was cooked. He needed to see if he needed to turn it over and cook it some more. When he had a look, he froze. The fire he had been cooking with had no food cooking. All he seemed to be cooking was a bone. Only a few scraps of meat remained to the bone, which stopped it from falling. Hansen felt a chill. It was so close to him. Yet something had quietly eaten the thigh meat he had been cooking. If that thing wanted to eat his neck, Hansen did not know what might happen. Hansen looked around. He did not see any creatures around. There was nothing but pitch-black darkness all around the dark forest he was in. Hansen was just a commoner now, so he could not see too far. He could not discern what was lurking in the woods. He gnashed his teeth and chopped the next thigh off the other wing of the gold-winged big bird. He placed it above the fire and resumed cooking. The forest around that place was dangerous, so venturing into it was ill-advised. He wanted to put more meat on the fire to see if he could draw the creature out. If he did that and snared it, it would increase his chances of winning a fight. Fighting enemies was better than fighting sneaky enemies. He put it to the fire to cook. This time he stopped thinking about other stuff. All he did was stare at the bird's leg. He wanted to see what ate his last thigh. While the fire was up, the bird's leg soon started to smell nice. The oil sizzled as droplets began to roll off the skin like honey. The smell and color were very enticing. Hansen remained on alert. He looked all around. Aside from the sha-sha noise of the blowing breeze and the bird screaming through the night, there was nothing else. Is that thing afraid of being seen? Is that why it is no longer coming out? Hansen thought of that and felt safer. If that thing felt fear, it would not be a beast that was too scary. To him it was pretty good news. After that pause, Hansen sat back a little. Just like earlier, he lowered his head and pretended to think. From the corner of his eyes, he kept his attention on the thigh. The thigh by this point was being cooked very well. It smelled delicious, so it was almost done. Despite that, nothing showed up. Is that thing already full after eating a thigh? Hansen did not think that was possible. He then felt as if his clothes were being ruffled behind him. Hansen felt a chill. He shivered. He quickly turned around. When he turned around, he didn't see anything. It was empty. In the distance behind him, around 90 to 120 feet away from his position, Hansen sensed that there was nothing. Hansen looked back at the fire and the meat that was cooking, but his face made a ghastly wince. The cooked thigh had been eaten. There were only the scraps of a thigh bone hanging. There was nothing else around that place. There was not even a shadow. What is this? This is Dusk Sky. Aside from Berry Path God, other creatures should be subject to the rules of this world. They should not be able to use powers. Can ordinary creatures be that fast? Even with my full attention on the thigh, it was taken. Hansen could not believe it. His body was powerful. It was the greatest in the universe. If someone at the same level was suppressed, not many people could be faster than him. That thing can obviously kill me if it wants to, so why doesn't it? He just wants to eat the thigh. Is he not interested in me? Does he really only want the thigh? Does it actually want to play with me? Does it want a game of cat and mouse? Hansen was frozen. He frowned. He surveyed the area, but there was nothing to be found. The fact that the night was so quiet made people feel pressure. The forest around was like an abyssal hell. It was very dark. One did not know what scary monsters might be lurking in wait. As a normal person, that mental pressure would likely break their hearts. Hansen fetched some more bird meat and went back to cooking it. This time he did not want to lure that creature out. He collected the meat the moment it was done. He was going to eat it. He suddenly saw a cold light flicker. It swiftly flashed near Hansen's mouth. The bird meat in Hansen's hand flew away. Hansen's teeth sank into nothing. Chapter 33:48 Meeting old people again. Although it was only for just a moment, Hansen was prepared. Under that gaze, he saw what was responsible for the cold light. It actually made him freeze. The cooked bird flew 15 feet away. Before it could land, the meat was gone. There were only bones left on the ground. The cold light darted off into the forest and vanished within the blink of an eye. When Hansen saw the cold light disappear, he frowned. He looked surprised. The thing that stole his food was a white rat that was around the size of someone's hand. To say it was just a small white rat was not right though. Although it was white, it was quite long. It was more like a small weasel. Han Sen would not be surprised by whatever the creature was. What really surprised Han Sen was that when the little rascal stole his meat to eat, its body possessed wind power. If it did not, it could not have lunged as far as it did. But this is Dust Sky. How can there be a creature here that is using wind power to fly? Han Sen could not think of why this was, but he knew it was pretty freaky. According to theory, aside from Berry Path God, who was the leader of Dust Sky, no other creature should have been able to use their powers there. Yet, that small white rat was able to. Is the power of that small white rat strong enough to break the rules of Dust Sky? Han Sen could not find out the answer. Han Sen brought over the rest of the bird meat to cook. Every time he cooked it, Han Sen would turn around and scan the area for a while. Whenever he turned back to see the meat, it would be gone. The small white rat's appetite was impressive. It ate all the gold-wing big bird until there was not a morsel left. Han Sen was not able to eat any of the meat, but he was not angered by that. He was actually quite interested in the situation. That small white rat might have been an opportunity for him to leave Dust Sky. Han Sen put out the fire, stood up and left. He wanted to collect more Breakworld genes before Berry Path God found him. That would be useful for him. Dust Sky was a very dangerous place, but it was also one of opportunity. The Breakworld beasts there had been weakened. They would be easy enough to kill. After walking a dozen miles, Han Sen came across another Breakworld beast. It was a golem. It was snow-white like jade. 2 of its teeth appeared to have been made from silver. Han Sen did not have to use much strength. In 10 minutes, it was able to break its head. Killed Breakworld beast. White golem. Found Breakworld gene. Han Sen was able to find another snazzy Breakworld gene, which he quickly threw into his gob. Unfortunately, it only yielded him an extra 2 Breakworld genes. It was unknown if the Breakworld rate of the creature was too low or what. Han Sen did not continue looking for Breakworld beasts. He put the golem down and started cooking its nose. It was very delicious. Han Sen turned around. He noticed the cooked nose was gone. That guy followed me after all, Han Sen thought. He grabbed a few more slices of meat to cook. The results were the same each time. Every time Han Sen turned around, the cooked meat would be gone. He did not know how the small little rat's small body was able to eat that much meat. The golem weighed a few tons, so Han Sen only ended up cooking half of it. Yet the little rat was able to eat everything Han Sen put more on the fire. Han Sen did not stop cooking until there was only a small part of it left. He decided to move on. After Han Sen was gone for a while, he came back. He discovered the meat that had been left over was still where he left it. It had not been eaten. Han Sen thought, that guy is weird. It does not eat raw meat. If that thing did not eat raw meat, there were only 2 possibilities. It was perhaps a pet owned by others, and that was why it ate cooked meat. A small white rat was not going to cook something for itself. Of course, the small white rat might have been used to eating raw meat, but Han Sen may have given it a picky mouth. Perhaps that was why it no longer ate raw meat. Han Sen thought, if it is the first possibility, that is the right one. In Dust Sky, the only person who can have a pet like that would be Berry Path God. He did not stop for long. Han Sen got up and went out to find more Breakworld beasts. After he found a Breakworld beast, killed it, cooked as much of it as he could, the small white rat ate all the meat. After a while, the small white rat did not seem to be afraid. It eventually revealed itself at a distance that was rather close to Han Senator every time Han Sen cooked meat. It stared at the food from afar. When the meat was done, before Han Sen turned around, it came up to eat it. It was like a storm. It was so fast that it was rather unbelievable. No matter how it ate, its belly did not get bloated. It was like there was a bottomless hole in its tummy. After eating, the small white rat flew far away. It looked at Han Sen from afar, and did not get close to him. White-eyed wolf. No. White-eyed rat. Han Sen was a bit peeved. He wanted to use the power of the small white rat, but the small white rat had eaten 7 or 8 Breakworld beasts by this point. Even still, the small white rat did not trust him. I should just take it slow. Han Sen had nothing else to do. So he kept looking for more break-world beasts to kill. He also kept trying to communicate with the small white rat in the hopes it would eventually put its guard down and keep it that way. Although he had been unable to attract the full confidence of the small white rat, Han Sen's break-world genes were able to increase by a lot. He had 43 break-world genes. If there were enough break-world beasts for him to kill, perhaps in another 10 days or half a month, his break-world gene tally would be maxed out. The break-world beasts were not so easy to find. Han Sen was running for half the day, yet he was still unable to find a break-world beast. He did see many ordinary creatures. Han Sen was not interested in the ordinary creatures, so he just kept on walking. When he went to a little river, Han Sen had a sip of water. Before long, he heard footsteps. He raised his head and saw a familiar face. "It is you." The two of them spoke it in tandem. They looked alert and ready to fight. On the bank of the river, a man was walking down. He was wearing black clothes. He looked very gentle. He looked as if he was very common, but Han Sen knew that there was a scary heart lurking in this commonness. Han Sen looked at the man in front of him and asked, "Ancient Devil, why are you here? Why are you here?" Ancient Devil smiled at Han Senator. He did not retreat like he did last time. Han Sen's brain went through countless thoughts. Did Ancient Devil randomly show up in Dusk Sky? Can something like that really happen? After all, he has only just been able to break the world. He does not seem to be able to use the powers from the 33 skies. Wait, the 33 skies are vast. Why did Berry Path God become the leader of Dusk Sky, while Ancient Devil landed here too? Chapter 33:49 Berry Creatures Place. Han Sen thought. So it would appear 2 of the 3 God Chaos Party's vice presidents are here now. If Big Sky Demon was around, things would surely get more interesting. Ancient Devil appeared calm. One could not discern anything wrong with his face. To tell you the truth, I stumbled across this place by complete accident, Han Sen casually said. He did not express any feelings or emotions. What about you? In front of an intelligent elite like Ancient Devil, Han Sen was not planning to lie, even if he did not know how to lie. Plus, saying something honest would have made Ancient Devil suspicious. If Ancient Devil was there for something, and if Han Sen was there, Ancient Devil might not believe he was there by accident. Ancient Devil would definitely be suspicious. I am here by accident too. Ancient Devil looked to be devoid of emotion when he said that. Han Sen did not see anything strange in Ancient Devil's face. He knew it would be hard to glean any information from him, so he asked, "Last time, regarding the Geno tablet, do you not think you owe me an explanation?" Ancient Devil laughed. "What explanation? I did not lie to you about a single thing. Everything I told you was the absolute truth. Therefore, what can you possibly expect me to explain to you? It looks like you think you are in Dusk Sky. My power is restricted, so I cannot do anything to you." Han Sen looked at Ancient Devil as he spoke. Ancient Devil did not hide anything. He nodded and said, "There is a way. Dusk Sky has restricted my power and break world rate is not very high. But in Dusk Sky, you cannot beat me easily." "Oh really?" Han Sen did not believe Ancient Devil. He looked at Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil waved his hands. "Do not even think about trying to fight me. Now we are all in Dusk Sky together. If I am found by Berry Path God, you and I are both going down. After all, the enemy of my enemy is a friend. Why should we kill each other?" "That depends on whether or not you are willing to be my friend," Han Sen said. He took a step toward Ancient Devil. His body was not as powerful as usual, but his will and mind were still there. With Under the Sky will and his power, every step he took was like a chess game. It made Ancient Devil feel a lot of pressure. Ancient Devil's face changed. He still understood Han Senator. He knew if that guy wanted to do something, he would go through the fire and flames to get it. He would not be tricked by mere language play. Unless he was able to bring out something solid, he would probably have to end up fighting Han Senator seeing Han Sen come before him. Ancient Devil made a very deep smile and asked, "Do you want to know Berry Path God's secret? It is a secret that pertains to Dusk Sky as well." This was what Han Sen wanted to hear. It made Han Sen stop breathing and walking. "Tell me." Han Sen stood still. He coldly looked at Ancient Devil. His power had not been reduced. He still looked at Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil paused and said, "It is actually like Sky King. Berry Path God bred the creatures in the 33 skies. When Berry Path God was born, Sky King was already the first spirit in the 33 skies. He was born in Dust Sky." Keep going. Han Sen was interested in this. He thought, of course. Ancient Devil did not come here by accident. Ancient Devil made it sound nice. He went on to say, Sky King is the son of the 33 skies, but he is not the biggest spirit in the 33 skies. The real spirit of the 33 skies is Dust Sky's Berry Path God. Of the 33 skies, Dust Sky is very unique. What kind of situation are we talking about here? Han Sen asked. According to Mr. Leader's plan with the 33 skies, Dust Sky is a grave for the 33 skies, Ancient Devil said. It is for burying the spirits that are unable to be reincarnated. What does that mean? Han Sen asked. What do you mean by them not being able to be reincarnated? I thought every spirit could reincarnate after their death. Yes, according to the theory, Ancient Devil replied. Some spirits are so strong that when their bodies perish, their souls do not die completely. Struggles will have left their marks on it. If such a spirit entered the cycle of reincarnation, they would be a glitch in the rules of the world. For a leader, it does not matter if it is the Geno Hall or the God Chaos Party. No one wants that to happen. So, we need a place to sort out these weird spirits. Ergo, that's what we have here. We have Dust Sky. And then, Han Sen let Ancient Devil keep talking. Ancient Devil became a bit more serious as he said, when Mr. Leader built the 33 skies, it led to Dust Sky having a spirit, which was Berry Path God. He became the vice president of the God Chaos Party. There was then Sky King, Dragon King, Azura, and others in the 33 skies. Han Sen did not say a word. More than anything, he looked annoyed. Ancient Devil had said a lot so far, but he hadn't actually gotten to the main point. When Ancient Devil saw Han Sen's face, he looked uncaring. He went on to say, if I have guessed things correctly, when the universe rebooted, Mr. Leader buried himself here. Are you saying the body of God Chaos Party's true leader is buried in this place? Han Sen was shocked. He could not find the gall to believe Ancient Devil's bold claim. Ancient Devil nodded. That is merely what I have guessed. I haven't thought of it for long, but Berry Path God became the leader of Dust Sky. I do not want him to find me. So I am searching quietly. Please don't tell me you have no solid leads. After making the effort to get there, Han Sen did not believe Ancient Devil would go home with nothing. Well, funnily enough, I do have some leads. There is a place not too far from here that looks like the area I am looking for, but I have been unable to confirm anything just yet. Ancient Devil spoke quietly. Is the place around here? Han Sen asked. If the leader of the God Chaos Party was there, that would be the real treasure. No one knew what the old leader might have been carrying. On that planet, but I do not know where. Ancient Devil said. How do you know it is on that planet? Han Sen looked at Ancient Devil with a look of zero trust. When Berry Path God became the leader, he always occupied that place. Ancient Devil seriously said. From what I was able to observe, this planet is nothing special. Han Sen understood what he meant. That planet was very normal. Yet Berry Path God always went there. That had to prove there was something not entirely normal about the place. If you are interested, we can cooperate and find the old leader's corpse, Ancient Devil said. Otherwise, you and I might be here for a very long time waiting for Berry Path God to return from the Geno tablet. If that happens, we will only end up dead anyway. Fine. I will work with you again. Han Sen nodded. On the inside, he thought, if this place is the resting place of the God Chaos Party's old leader, that means Big Sky Demon might be around. She seems to know more than Ancient Devil. Perhaps he can contact her. Chapter 3350 Meeting Destiny Tablet. Again, Ancient Devil did not say anything further. He debated things a little and said, I have been following this river. Right now, I am headed downstream. Perhaps if we both go that way, we might stumble across a thing or two. Han Sen was fine with that. He followed Ancient Devil downstream. The little river was just a branch of a greater river. They followed the little river for a while. They soon came across a lake. On the other side of that lake, a river roared. That would have been the bigger river Ancient Devil talked about. Ancient Devil stood next to the river and gazed across to it. After a while he said, "This river is a bit weird. Maybe there is something underneath it. We should go down deeper into the lake." Hansen looked at the lake. He did not know much about land pulses and things like that, but his sense of perception was razor-blade sharp. He felt that the lake was special in some capacity. It was like there was some spirit air coming down from it. Ancient Devil was down in the water. He swam into the lake. Hansen followed. The water was cool and comforting, but there was nothing inherently special about it. The surface of the lake was green. Usually, green lakes were not very deep. The darker a lake was, the deeper the water was. This green lake was bottomless. They dove 900 to 1,200 feet, and there was still no end to their deep dive. If they were outside dusk sky, they could dive around 1,500 feet. Even if they had to dive 120,000 or 150,000 feet, they would have been unaffected. In dusk sky, diving 120,000 or 150,000 feet cost them a lot of power. Ancient Devil performed a gesture to Hans Senator. It was like he had found something. Hansen nodded and followed him in the dive. He followed Ancient Devil deeper down. It was not long before they were under the lake where there was a big crevice. It was like there was a cliff beneath it. After landing on the cliff, Hansen peered down the drop. The water was pitch black. It was like a gateway to hell. They could not tell how deep they would have to go. Hansen looked down further. In that pitch-black darkness, an eye was peering up at them. It seemed to frown as it looked upon Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil felt something. He looked at Hans Senator. They could not talk underwater, but their hearts were in sync. They knew what each other was going to say. They nodded. The two of them were diving down deeper into the water below the cliff. The most dangerous place they could be was where they were staring into. They were both commoners. Their sense of perception was low. In the pitch-black water, they could not see through the lake. Even if something was directly in front of them, they would not have seen it. They could only dive in based on their confidence in their feelings. Hansen's ability of sense was still there. He felt as if there was an eye staring at them in the dark. It was like the eye of a toxic snake that ate people. When the water moved, Hansen felt Ancient Devil come near him. Even so, he could not be accurate about where exactly he was. All he could do was keep diving. Suddenly, Hansen felt something bad was about to happen. He ceased all hesitation and moved his body to the side like a fish. He was too late. It felt as if his leg had been snared by a snake. He quickly went deeper down. He was going deep into the farther recesses of the lake. The water splashed wildly. There was a white wake of water bubbles behind Hans Senator. It was because he was sinking too fast. The water was kind of like a whirlpool. It spun for a while before the empty space of his prior presence was filled. Hansen reached out his hand to grab what had latched onto his leg. Whatever it was, it felt cold. It was as thick as an arm and felt like it had the scales of a fish or a snake. It was unknown if it was a snake or what. Hansen tugged at it twice. The thing was very tight. It was so tight and powerful that he could not move it. He used his hand like a knife and kept striking the skin. Nothing was achieved. Suddenly, a halo appeared in front of him. He saw a strap was tying up his leg. It looked like a snake, and it looked like a fish. It was impossible to tell what it was, but it was black. Hansen could not see its head. Ancient Devil was not far from Hans Senator, just like Hansen. He was also getting dragged by that thing. While they were both sinking quick, two big empty pillars appeared behind them. The light was coming from someplace below their feet. The monster was trying to pull them toward the light. They sank very quickly. The light was getting brighter. Hansen now knew what was up with the lighting. It was a copper tablet. There was a lot of seaweed around it. After looking closely though, he noticed it wasn't seaweed he was seeing. It was the weird stuff that surrounded Hansen and Ancient Devil. The copper light came out from the copper tablet. It was unknown how long the copper tablet had been there. The lake's water had corroded it somewhat, but it did not look broken. In that green light, Hansen saw the copper tablet had two words written on it: Destiny Tablet. Hansen observed it. He saw the seaweed-like monsters were coming for him as a group. Ancient Devil and Hansen could not fight back. They were both tangled up. His legs, hands, waist, neck, and other parts were bound. He was like a mummy, and he was being pulled toward the destiny tablet. Pang! Ancient Devil and Hansen struck the bronze tablet. Their noses bled, and their faces were twisted following the smack. Their cheeks cracked. Soon after, they discovered that there was no water by the bronze tablet. Hansen wanted to escape, but he heard Ancient Devil quietly say, "Do not move. This is Evil God's beard. The more you move, the faster you die." Hansen saw Ancient Devil stand where he was without moving. He let the weird thing come all over him. He did not move. He knew Ancient Devil was not just lying to him, so he stopped moving too. Evil God's beard did not let them go just because they stopped moving. It still surrounded them, and the bindings were becoming tighter. Hansen felt as if his bones were going to break due to the squeeze. Ancient Devil was faring a bit better. Hansen quietly said, "This is not looking good. Is there a way for us to get out of this? Destiny Tablet and Evil God's beard are both here. That means Mr. Leader's body is here too. We have come to the right place." Ancient Devil's eyes looked bright. "Why are you not answering what I am asking?" Hansen asked with a streak of depression. "I am asking if you have a way to kill this thing. Even if your leader's body was right in front of us, it won't matter if we're dead." Ancient Devil was being strangled. He could not breathe, but he was still able to remain calm. "Do you know how to play dead?" Play dead. Hansen did not know what Ancient Devil meant. "You will live if you play dead. Otherwise, real death is the only way out for you." Ancient Devil closed his eyes and rolled his head like he had died. There was no more presence from his body anymore. Chapter 33:51 Playing Dead. Hansen looked frozen. Ancient Devil had asserted a deathly posture. The life in his body was suddenly gone. His limbs were stiff. He looked deader than a corpse. It was a great act. It was very real looking. Even a famous actor in real life could not behave like that. Even Hansen, who knew about this, could not tell if he was dead or alive. It was weird. When Ancient Devil died, the evil god beard that was tying him up relinquished its grasp. It was still there, but it ceased tightening a lot. "If this is just playing dead, I can do it too." Hansen gnashed his teeth. He controlled his body and toned down all of the presence and reactions inside him. He even made his heart stop beating. Although all of his power was restricted by Dust Sky, he could still control his body. Doing this was nothing special. Hansen was a professional when it came to things like this. After Hansen's presence and warmness were gone, the evil god beard that had snared him stopped tying him up. It became a little loose. "It worked, but I cannot keep playing dead here forever. We are just bodies here now. If we keep playing dead, we will eventually tire out too much." Hansen wanted to ask Ancient Devil, but he was worried that if moving would garner the attention and ire of the evil god beard again. He had to hold on and wait, and see what Ancient Devil was going to do first. Hansen knew Ancient Devil would eventually come back. He knew about the existence of the evil god beard, but he still went down to the depths of that place anyway. He must have had a way of dealing with it properly. He just had to sit and watch what Ancient Devil was going to do. The two of them did not move. They asserted the appearance of corpses. The evil god beard did not let them go slowly. They both landed on the copper tablet's bottom. It really hurt, but Hansen did not dare react to the pain. Around 2 hours later, the evil god beard around seemed to minimize its presence. It went under the bronze tablet. Now Hansen had only reduced his senses. His sense of power had become weaker. He did not know if any more evil god beards were lurking around them. Suddenly, Hansen heard some sound come from Ancient Devil. Someone was crawling up. Aside from Ancient Devil, it could not be anybody else. Hansen did not move a muscle. He opened his eyes slightly to peer at Ancient Devil, who was sitting. He sat cross-legged like a Buddha. His hands were up, and his lips mumbled. He did not, however, make a sound. Ancient Devil's actions did not aggravate the evil god beard around. It did not get close to him. As for Hansen, who had just opened a small slit in his eyes, it was enough for the evil god beard to notice his play. Suddenly, A lot of it came for him like a cell of sea snakes. Hansen knew Ancient Devil had come prepared for all this, but he just did not understand how Ancient Devil did what he was doing. Ancient Devil slowly got up off the floor. He was very casual. He looked like his usual self, but the evil god beard did not attack him. Ancient Devil smiled at Han Sr. "Mr. Han, I am leaving first. I am sure we will meet again soon." After that, Ancient Devil went behind the copper tablet and disappeared from view. Hansen wanted to follow, but the evil god beard was looking at him. Hansen had to hold on to his urge. He had to keep playing dead. Ancient Devil's skill is too much. I can't replicate his talents. How am I supposed to get rid of the evil god beard? What lies behind the copper tablet? Is this the entrance to the tomb of the old leader of the God Chaos Party? Hansen's mind raced through all sorts of possibilities. He wanted to know where Ancient Devil was going. He wanted to discover something cool, but Hansen knew he could not rush this. He had to remain calm and find a way to be free. Squeak. Squeak. While Hansen was thinking about how to get rid of the evil god beard and follow after Ancient Devil, he suddenly heard a sound from not too far away. It was like someone whose teeth were rubbing against each other while sleeping. What is that sound? Hansen tried hiding all of his senses to pretend he was dead. He could not feel anything. Unfortunately, if he did not hide his sense, he would trigger the attention of the evil god beard again. Hansen got back to thinking about opening his eyes or not. He wondered if he should have a look and find out what it was, but he heard the sound come closer. It was like it was right next to him. While he was listening to the squeaking sound right near his ear, he felt something touch his hair. Hansen could not help but open his eyes to look. He was shocked by what he saw. A white shadow was in front of him. It was the small, white rat that looked like a yellow weasel. It was a little white beast. It was in front of Hansen making squeaky sounds with its fervent teeth. Hansen was most surprised by the fact that the small rat was right next to him. It was rubbing its teeth and waving its claws. Despite that, it was not triggering the reactions of the evil god beard. The evil god beard was just waving itself around elsewhere and not coming close. It seemed to be afraid of the small white rat. Hansen opened his eyes. He stopped pretending to be a corpse. The evil god beard looked at him, but it did not come any closer. That surprised Hans Senator, he said. This small white rat is surely nothing ordinary. The small white rat watched Hansen open his eyes. It then started crawling toward the copper tablet. It went to where Ancient Devil had gone. Hansen quickly stood up. He followed after the small white rat. The evil god beard felt Hansen go, and was appropriately annoyed. It raced toward him. After a certain point, it stopped. It did not want to go anywhere close to the small white rat. Hansen was delighted by this. He hurried up and followed after the small white rat. The small white rat was much faster than Hans Senator. It was already behind the copper tablet now. As Hansen followed it, he noticed Ancient Devil wasn't behind the copper tablet. There was no actual entrance to anything, as Hansen thought there might be. There was only a complete bronze tablet with no crevice to slide into or anything of the sort. Weird. The copper tablet has no entrance. Where did Ancient Devil go? Hansen frowned. While Hansen was thinking, the small white rat jumped down to the bottom of the copper tablet. It landed under the black water. That water had lots of evil god beard moving around. When the little white rat jumped down, the evil god beard ran away from it. Nothing dared to touch it. Hansen had no other way to go. He gnashed his teeth and jumped after the little white rat. He then saw the little white rat raise its bum and start diving under. Hansen dove in after it. He immediately looked at the evil god beard. It was underneath the copper tablet. It was like there was a lot of seaweed at the bottom of the copper tablet's base. It was like a cell of toxic snakes in a cave. People would not have been able to tell how many evil god beards might have resided there. The small white rat dove down 21 or 24 feet down. Wherever it went, there was a lot of evil god beard. There was so much that Hansen could not see what the copper tablet looked like anymore. Chapter 3352 Copper Room. The evil god beard scrambled away in fright when the small white rat went down into it. But despite all, the evil god beard was a hole as wide as a barrel. There was so much of it that they were obscuring Hansen's vision of it. Seeing the small white rat scurry inside, the evil god Beard sought to close it up. Hansen made sure to hasten his pursuit. His body had only gone into it halfway when the evil god Beard came for him and tied up his legs. Hansen knew it was pointless trying to struggle, so he played dead. When the evil god Beard loosened its grasp on him, he resumed squeezing inside. There was no evil god Beard inside the hole, so there was no longer a need to worry about anything. Hansen played dead, but he felt like something was stepping on his head. He then heard the squeaking noise again. It came from the little white rat. After the sound rang out, Hansen felt his legs loosen. He was freed. He stopped hesitating and went into the hole. The little white rat leaped off his head. Its 4 claws were waving, and it small but was wiggling as it proceeded onward. Hansen followed the small white rat. The hole was a very complicated place. It was like it had been dug through by animals. It was nothing man-made. Suddenly, the small white rat had no shadow. It was like it had just vanished. While Hansen wondered where the small white rat was, his body sank. He fell. Patong. Hansen felt his bum get spiked by something sharp. It hurt him so much that he had to leap away. It was then that he discovered he was in a room built with copper. There were many bones and skeletons strewn around it. He saw a sharp bone where he had landed. The bone was sticking up his anus. Hansen pulled out the bone from his butt and threw it on the floor. He saw the small white rat scurry around the walls of the copper room. It was unknown what it was up to. Hansen looked around the room. There were no doors. There was just a hole in the ceiling. Looking at the hole, one could see there was water beyond it. That was where Hansen had come from. Inside the hole he had traversed, he was led to a place where there was just a pile of bones and nothing else. Hansen looked at the bones and said to himself, "By looking at these bones, it is safe to say they aren't the bones of humans. They likely belong to a beast with 4 legs. This cannot be the skeleton of the God Chaos Party's old leader, who had the misfortune to die here." Hansen picked up a bone and pushed away all the others. He wanted to see if he could do something. After digging for a while, Hansen heard a dong sound. It sounded metallic. It did not sound like he was hitting a bone. Hansen kept on digging. He eventually found something metallic beneath the bones. It was red in color. It was like a rusty steel stick. Hansen pulled out the rusty steel stick and noticed it wasn't a steel stick. It was a scabbard that was made from steel. It had been there for so long that it had rusted over. It was like a red kind of rust. There was a lot of it. The scabbard was caked to the point that he could not tell what it looked like before. The scabbard, however, was very heavy. Hansen used the scabbard like a stick and kept digging through the mound of bones. He was unable to find anything more. Why is there a scabbard amidst the bones? What or who do all these other bones belong to? While Hansen wondered about this mystery, he heard more squeaking. Hansen turned around and saw the little white rat in the corner of the room. It kept squeaking while gnawing at something. It's tiny but kept twisting and turning. Hansen walked up to the small rat. He noticed it was using its teeth to gnaw a copper pillar in the corner of the palace. That pillar had a hole in it that was the size of an apple. The small white rat continued to bite it. When the small white rat burrowed through the hole, Hansen noticed that the copper pillar was hollow. After the small white rat dug through it, a purple and black liquid began to seep out. It was like the oil stains people had left for years across an old stove. Hansen smelled something nasty. It was clearly coming from that black and purple liquid. The small white rat did not seem as if it was able to repel the horrible smell either. The little creature stopped gnawing the copper pillar and started falling back. It went back and stared at the hole it had managed to dig with its teeth. A revolting, pungent smell was still coming from out of the hole. Hansen covered his nose and looked at it. He felt as if he could tell what it was. Is this liquid the substances a dead body releases? Hansen looked at the purple and black liquid and felt confident that had to be it. To use an alliance saying, the liquid a body released was often called dead body oil. Hansen did not know what creature might release such dead body oils, and he had no idea why something would have died inside a copper pillar. There was, however, one thing he knew for sure. He knew that the place he was in was very dangerous. Donglong. Following that liquid, something else emerged. It was stuck inside the wall between the copper pillar and could not come out. Hansen picked up a bone and stabbed it through the hole. Not long later, something came out from the hole with the stinky liquid. Hansen picked the item up from the black and purple liquid. Before he could see what it was, an announcement played in his head. Found Breakworld gene. It is a Breakworld gene? That means the creature that died inside this copper pillar was a Breakworld beast. Hansen was shocked. He picked up the item and wiped it clean. He saw a crystal jade Breakworld gene that looked like a teardrop. Hansen kept stabbing into the hole with the bone. He repeatedly thrust. He let all of the purple and black fluid flow out until nothing else remained. When the liquid stopped coming out, the little white rat moved forward. It went to the gnawed-out hole and went inside. Big brother, you might be able to weasel your way inside, but I know I can't. Hansen looked at the hole, which was only the size of a fist, and felt a bit depressed. Hansen thought the small white rat could not hear him, but the small white rat's head poked out really quickly. It used its big eyes to look at him. Suddenly, 2 beams of light landed on Hans Senator in the next second. Hansen felt as if the hole was getting bigger. Not long later, it became a hole that was the size of a man. When Hansen looked around him, he noticed everything in the copper room was bigger. Hansen quickly realized that the hole hadn't become bigger. It was the beams of the small white rat that had made him smaller. That really surprised him. The little white rat crawled into the hole. This time, Hansen stopped talking crap. He followed after the small white rat. The copper pillar was very smelly. Hansen had to hold his nose as he followed the small white rat. There were a few screw-shaped circles inside the copper pillar. A man and a rat climbed across this screw-shaped road. Hansen was forced to touch a lot of the purple and black liquid. When they climbed to the top of the copper pillar, Hansen noticed the copper room, copper pillar, and the items of the copper screws were all able to be passed through. They created a network that could lead anywhere. He wasn't sure where it could lead them. Chapter 3353. Peeking. The small white rat seemed to be quite familiar with the copper pipes. It shook its small butt as it scurried forward. Hey, where are you even going? Hansen asked while following the small white rat. He was walking slowly. Now the small white rat had made him smaller. His small and short legs could not run very fast. He could not catch up with the small white rat. The small white rat could not speak, so it only ran forward and stopped a little. When Hansen caught up, it kept on running. It was unknown how long it had been running. And then the small white rat bent its waist and slid down a copper pillar. Hansen looked down. He noticed the copper pillar was empty. There was nothing there to grab hold of. Black and gray dust was layered across the wall. It was likely what the liquid from the dead body oil had become. Except now it was gunky due to being dried up. Hansen slid down the copper pillar and soon discovered that the copper pillar's bottom had a rat hole. The small white rat was looking around, waiting for Hansen to catch up to it. They crawled out of the rat hole. Hansen noticed they were now in a copper hall. The hall featured a square pool that was half filled with water. A green vine was inside the water. A little green gourd was above the vine. Squeak squeak. Squeak squeak. Squeak squeak. The small white rat ran next to the water. It twisted its head and squeaked at Hans Senator. It then went inside the pool, as if it was going for a shower. Hansen did not know what the small white rat was trying to say. If it had gone there just to shower, it had led him a long way. Hansen kept looking at the gourd vine in the water. He walked next to the pool. The white rat was swimming in the water, not planning on leaving. It was not planning on going any further. After a while of silence, Hansen went into the pool. After his body touched the pool's water, Hansen's body felt as if it was lit on fire. He felt as if an invisible heat was burning him. Hansen was shocked and said, "This is a pool of water. Why does it have fire-like features?" Before he jumped out of the pool, his small body started to grow bigger. He was returned to his usual size. His body power, which had been restricted by dust sky, had been returned to him. "I can feel my power." Hansen was soaking in the water. He felt as if he was being reborn in a fire. He felt all of the power of the universe, and all his power came back to where it belonged. Hansen was shocked and happy. He really wanted to pick up the small white rat and kiss it. Good people are given good karma. It seems that I did not waste my meat. The small white rat did not let him get close. It swam away and went toward the gourd and vine. After a while, the burning sensation of the pool water was gone. It did not work on his body anymore. Hansen jumped out of the pool and generated his Dongxian aura. He no longer felt any resistance. He was able to cast it like usual. It was just like the power he used when he was outside. Hansen was very happy that he was able to his true powers. It meant he had a chance of fighting anyone or anything he wished. Even if Qin Xiu showed up, he would be able to battle him. He looked at the small white rat with gratitude, but it was already swimming to the gourd vine. He was wondering if he should climb there with it. It looked as if the small white rat had made up its mind. Its body started to shake as if it was being electrified. Then it bounced away. Hansen saw the snow-white skin of the small white rat start to blacken and char. It was like the furry thing had been roasted alive. The small white rat fell into the body of the pool. It did not move. Its behavior seemed to suggest it was dead. Hansen was shocked. He used his Dongxian aura to get a look at the small white rat. He discovered its life force was not quite all gone. It was recovering in the pool. Of course, a burned, poor little rat was in the water. Not long later, the burned color started to fade away. It brought back its white skin, and its life force started to improve. This water is really good. It can bring people back to life. Hansen was shocked. He was really curious about the gourd vine that was inside the water. He used the Dongxian aura to get a proper look at the gourd vine. He only saw a blur. He could not even see the base structure of the thing. That gave him a shock. What is this gourd vine? Not even I can make something out of it. While Hansen was wondering, he saw the small white rat recover. It rushed to the gourd vine again. This time, the small white rat used its teeth to bite the gourd vine. When it touched the gourd vine, it was like it was being electrified to the point of looking like a block of charcoal. It fell to the bottom of the pool again. Not long later, the small white rat looked like normal again. It went to the gourd vine again. It repeated this motion a few times. The snow-white rat knew it could not block the gourd vine's power, but it kept going on. It looked as if it was determined to break it. Hansen was curious about the gourd vine too. He wanted to go down into the water and see if he could touch the gourd vine. He suddenly heard a voice sound from nearby. Hansen was shocked. He quickly looked around and saw the bronze hall's door was closed. There should not have been anyone inside. Yet he clearly heard that voice. He knew it was Ancient Devil. He looked toward where the voice was seemingly coming from. He noticed it was coming from a rat hole in the corner of the wall. It was where the copper pillar was. Hansen stood still. The copper pillar could have led anywhere. It was like a system that channeled voices, but it had to be Ancient Devil talking somewhere around there. The rat hole enabled him to hear every word spoken. That voice was not loud. After the pipe maximized the sound, he could hear it all clearly. Hansen tried to peep and hear what he was talking about. Are you going to fight me for it? Ancient Devil sounded cold and angry. Hansen was shocked. He had been with Ancient Devil for a while. He had never seen him get mad before. Even when he was locked up, he never got angry with him. Who is Ancient Devil talking to? Is it Berry Path God? Hansen wondered. Hansen quickly learned the answer. Another voice came out from the rat hole. Hansen was no stranger to that acoustic. He knew who it belonged to. What do you mean to fight you for it? This is something Mr. Leader left behind. It is my right to have a part of it. Are you saying only you, Ancient Devil, can have the items the leader left behind? It was the voice of a seductive woman. It was Big Sky Demon. In the past you kept going against me. Ancient Devil coldly said. You are still the same. It looks like you and I should settle this score for good. Big Sky Demon is in Dust Sky and she is here. If Berry Path God comes back too, this is going to be quite the event. Hansen started to look weird. He remembered that Big Sky Demon and another vice president were enemies. Hansen thought it was Berry Path God. He now knew the vice president that Big Sky Demon had mentioned was likely Ancient Devil. Two demons fighting. How are you going to settle this? Do you plan on killing me? It is not as if I look down on you, but your power is not sufficient. You won't have what it takes. Big Sky Demon looked at him with disdain. Ancient Devil coldly said, I cannot kill you, but for as long as I draw breath, you will not be taking the leader's stuff. It never belonged to you. Be wary of karma taking you. If I do not have what it takes to claim it, then you will not be able to take it either, Big Sky Demon said. Do not forget that I was the first vice president of the God Chaos Party. So, what if you were the first vice president? Let's not say the God Chaos Party is practically done for, but even if they were around to protect these items, it should be Vice President Berry Path God and not you, Big Sky Demon. Ancient Devil looked at her with disdain as he spoke. Does that mean you are going to fight me for it? Big Sky Demon coldly asked. When Han Sen heard that, he thought the pair was going to engage in a big battle. Ancient Devil swiftly changed his tune and coldly said, I am not fighting against you, but I did find the real master of this item. I am taking it so that I may return it. Are you still going to fight me for that item? You said you found it, yet you expect me to believe you. I can say I found the right person too. Big Sky Demon was not so easily swayed. Ancient Devil was not angry. He went on to say, back in the day, when the universe reopened, Mr. Leader sent him to the Geno universe, so he could avoid the damage done by the reboot universe. Back then I knew this. That was why I reincarnated. I went to the Geno universe, so that I could find him. Does that mean you found it? If that is the case, why don't you tell me where he is now? Big Sky Demon looked at him mockingly. It is a her. And her name is Bao'er, Ancient Devil said. You might have not heard that name before, but you will know the person who raised her. It is Han Sr. Han Sen was shocked to hear this. He could not believe Bao'er was at the core of the discussion they had been having for all this time. His ears perked up, and his heart started to beat at an abnormal pace. He wanted to learn even more secrets about Bao'er from them. Big Sky Demon did not speak. When she heard Ancient Devil, she said, judging from the look on your face, it seems as if you have already seen Bao'er. So what if I have? Big Sky Demon coldly grunted. If you knew Master Bao'er was back, why are you and I still fighting over this? Ancient Devil asked. Big Sky Demon looked at him with disdain. She lifted her lips and said, Ancient Devil, you underestimate me. How am I supposed to know if you are helping Bao'er or secretly doing this for yourself? Even if you did deliver this to Master Bao'er, it should be me holding on to it. If you do not trust me, how am I supposed to trust you? Ancient Devil asked back. After all this talk, we need to see which of us has the bigger fist, Big Sky Demon said. You and I have never liked each other anyway. Let's just fight here. After that, Han Sen heard some hitting noises. Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon were already fighting. Stop fighting. You guys should just explain things first. Han Sen was in a hurry. He used his Dongxian aura to go past the rat hole. He went through the crooked tunnels to finally find Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon. They were about 900 feet away from Han Sen's copper palace. They were in another palace, and they were fighting hard. It was unknown what they used, but they were not restricted by Dust Sky either. Big Sky Demon's body was like a ghost, and Ancient Devil was like a mountain that could not move. He kept standing on the spot. Still, one could tell that Ancient Devil's Geno arts were changing even if his break world rate was still very low. Big Sky Demon kept putting him on the defensive. He could not fight back. It would not take long before he lost. The two of their Geno arts were very weird. All the Geno arts they used were something they were already familiar with. Now nobody repeated the same Geno arts. It made Han Sen feel shocked by how much skill they had. Ancient Devil had been restricted a lot, so he madly shouted, Big Sky Demon, don't you be such a bully. So what if I bully you? You have been reincarnated for 1 billion years, yet you only reached this rate. You deserve to be bullied. Big Sky Demon mocked him. Fine. I will let you know that I am someone you can easily bully. Ancient Devil was very angry. Black demon air arose on his body. The gold shadow of an old Buddha started to cloak him. Suddenly, the black demon air turned into a gold Buddha light. Big Sky Demon's ghost-like gray sky demon power hit the gold Buddha light. It was not as oppressive as before. It was just a little bit better. Double spirit break world. Big Sky Demon was shocked. Ancient Devil coldly said, Reincarnating wasted a lot of my time, but it was not as if I earned nothing out of it. Do you remember Mr. Leader talking about the sanctuaries? I reincarnated there. You were lucky to reincarnate in that sacred land. It is no wonder why you have a double soul. I suppose that did not happen by accident. Big Sky Demon kept fighting while talking to Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil did the same. He kept fighting while he answered. Yes, it was not solely through luck. The old leader sent Master Bao'er to that place. I was looking for Master Bao'er, so I had to reincarnate to go there. Reincarnating in the sanctuaries was costly. It cost me a lot. My entire soul almost faded. It is a shame that even though you did get something good in the land of holy spirits, you will still be unable to beat me. Big Sky Demon laughed coldly. Yes, you are right. I cannot defeat you. But if you want to kill me, you will end up paying a big price too. If Berry Path God comes back now, do you think you can still retrieve that item? His desire to claim that item is the same as it is for you and I. Ancient Devil looked like he wanted to get through to Big Sky Demon and sort the fight out with his silver tongue. Big Sky Demon did not do anything. She still looked murderous as she said, "In that case, I will have to kill you before Berry Path God comes back." While they were talking, Big Sky Demon's hand possessed a strange hand mark. Some weird sort of power was shivering through her hand. Han Sun hadn't quite figured out what was going on just yet, but he felt his Dongxian aura get broken. He lost his sense there. When Han Sun got his Dongxian aura back, he noticed Ancient Devil's chest had been penetrated. It went right through his heart, making him bleed gold demon blood. It looked like he was not going to live. Big Sky Demon was not doing too well either. She was looking much weaker now. She seemed really weak. Her mouth dribbled blood. The grudge between you and I must come to an end, Big Sky Demon said as she gathered up power. She was giving Ancient Devil the finishing blow. A cold voice suddenly sounded. Good work, guys. Without you two, I would have been unable to find this place. Han Sun was shocked. He opened the copper door in the copper hall. Berry Path God had just walked in. Chapter 3355 Strongest Second Gen God, Berry Path God. The expressions on Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon instantly changed. Two of my fellow vice presidents came to Dust Sky. You didn't call. You didn't write. Don't you think that is rather rude? Berry Path God coldly laughed as he spoke. Big Sky Demon coldly laughed. Vice President Berry Path God, you entered the Geno tablet. Even if I had wanted to say hello, I would have been unable to. Berry Path God did not say anything in response. He went to Big Sky Demon. He knew she and Ancient Devil had found Dust Sky, but only hid and sleuthed around without drawing attention to their presence. When he was in the Geno tablet, he went looking for where the old leader was buried. Big Sky Demon watched Berry Path God approach. She looked shocked. Berry Path God's power made it seem like he had many real dragons flying around his body. The man seemed to become stronger with every step he took. He obviously wanted to fight her. Berry Path God, you and I have never had a grudge with each other. We have never needed to be cross with each other. Why must you do this to me? Big Sky Demon was scared, but she still managed to put on a smile. Berry Path God did not move. He approached Big Sky Demon. He was the leader of Dust Sky. The copper tablet was able to stop Dust Sky's power, but he was still buffed a lot by the realm's force. Now his entire body was like a god. He was becoming even scarier. Big Sky Demon, I do not want to trouble you. It is a shame Mr. Leader only left behind one gene seed. I am sorry I was unable to share it with you. Berry Path God stepped out. Scary powers like a real, roaring dragon were going to Big Sky Demon. The gray air of countless real dragons was in the copper hall. If that copper hall was not normal and something that was not indestructible, it would have been reduced to dust. Han Sun felt like his Dongxian aura was being broken by the scary power. He could no longer sense much in the copper hall. Big Sky Demon quickly stumbled back, splintering into countless phantasm shadows. The shadows exploded. Berry Path God's power looked like a real dragon. She was like a ghost, ripping through space and escaping toward the door of the hall. Big Sky Demon, you should stay and be buried with the leader. Berry Path God would not want to unleash a tiger upon a mountain. Scary people like Big Sky Demon would kill him the moment he showed a period of weakness. When she recovered her strength, she would cause a big problem for him. The scary power Berry Path God wielded covered everything. It buried time, and everything else in nothingness. It was like it was able to consume everything. Big Sky Demon gathered up power, but the explosive power was much weaker than that of Berry Path God. Seeing the two powers collide with each other, Berry Path God already made a suppressing benefit. Pang! Suddenly, there was a scare and cold demon light behind Berry Path God. Ancient Devil was injured. He was dying, but he somehow got up and glowed with gold light. It was like a demon from ancient times. He carried a countless spell demon hand. He slapped Berry Path God's back harshly. Almost at the same time, Big Sky Demon's power, which had looked a bit weak, suddenly unleashed a shocking display. It was like a sky full of demon air coming. Berry Path God's face changed. He wanted to reel back some of his power to deal with Ancient Devil, who had been sneaking behind him, but Big Sky Demon's weird power surrounded him. He was unable to bring back his power. Pang! The powers of Berry Path God and Big Sky Demon were entangled with each other while Ancient Devil was free to strike his back. The three of them were snared together as Berry Path God's hair waved and danced. His mouth spilled blood. He was fighting the two of them alone to try and grab a hold of the situation. Hansen only felt the three powers fighting each other in the copper hall. He could not see the precise details. The three powers were flipping the sky and the ground in the copper hall. It was hard to use the Dongxian aura there. You guys set me up together. I cannot believe Big Sky Demon and Ancient Devil, the born rivals, would actually work together to deal with me. Berry Path God was shocked and scared. He thought he had really taken the advantage, but the tables had been turned on him. Big Sky Demon did not move. She laughed. There is nothing I can do because this is your territory. In Dust Sky, killing you has to be done with some flair and creativity. Ancient Devil coldly said. I reincarnated and was reborn. I have only just managed to break the world. Cooperating to fight you makes sense. Berry Path God madly laughed. Even if you guys are cooperating and want to kill me, Berry Path God, such a task is not done so easily. I will just make you both die with me. Why are you doing this? Mr. Leader only lets you guard Dust Sky. He did not tell you to go to the Destiny Tablet. You did not even know where the Destiny Tablet's entrance was. Is it really worth risking your life for something that does not even belong to you? Big Sky Demon spoke those words in an attempt to convince her foe. Berry Path God coldly grunted. Do you think I do not know that you two are just glorified watchdogs? Whatever it is that is inside there, the leader has kept it for the Little Master. When the words Little Master were heard, Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon immediately changed expressions. Berry Path God coldly laughed when he saw their faces change. Do not expect this to be a secret only you two are privy about. I did not live for nothing. Mr. Leader risked so much to give birth to that thing. Everything that resides here belongs to the Little Master. You should both know that we are not qualified to touch it. Teehee. Berry Path God really is Berry Path God, Big Sky Demon said. I underestimated you. I did not expect you to know about the existence of the Little Leader. Yes, this item is for the Little Leader. So you have no right to take it. When Hansen heard that, he was shocked. Big Sky Demon and Ancient Devil said the stuff here is for Bao'er, and Berry Path God is saying this stuff is for the Little Leader. Does that mean Bao'er is the daughter of God Chaos Party's old leader? Many thoughts were racing through Hansen's mind. If Bao'er is the God Chaos Party's leader's daughter, it now makes sense as to why Rocky D and Big Sky Demon do not want the God spirits to learn about her identity. If so, why are the God Chaos Party people hiding it? While he was thinking about this, he heard Berry Path God say, It is fine if the Little Leader had the blood of other people, but he has the God Chaos Party's enemy's blood. With that identity, how can the God Chaos Party be led? The stuff in the God Chaos Party should not be handled by him. When Hansen heard that, he felt as if his brain had blown up. He finally knew who Bao'er's parents were. To have said that the God Chaos Party's rival could touch God Chaos Party leader meant the only one eligible to fit that bill was God Hall leader. Bao'er's parents are God Chaos Party leader, and the prior God Hall leader. Being born to such figures is like cheating. It must be the greatest next generation being. Hansen could not believe his own guessing. Aside from that, he could not think of another possibility. Hansen now understood why creatures were always so nice to Bao'er. The strengths of her genes put her on top of the food chain in the main and reverse universes. No other creature had genes better than hers. Chapter 3356 Gourd Vine. The Copper Hall's power kept shaking. Big Sky Demon and Ancient Devil took the advantage, but they were still unable to eliminate Berry Path God. Berry Path God was the leader of Dusk Sky, and Ancient Devil's power had yet to fully recover. It was because of this that the situation was not a favorable one. Hansen kept using the Dongxian aura to invade the Copper Hall. He wanted to learn more secrets, especially about those involving Bao'er. The Dongxian aura kept being broken by the Copper Hall's power. Hansen had to keep trying his best to hear the sounds, as all he was hearing were bits and bobs. For the sake of Mr. Leader, I will admit he is the little master, but we cannot allow a guy that has a God Spirit blood pulse ruin the God Chaos Party. Berry Path God's voice kept breaking as he spoke. If you are this loyal to the little leader, I suppose you are not here to take the gene seed for yourselves. If you are both here for the same thing, then how dare you criticize me? Big Sky Demon laughed and said, well said. We are not in a place to judge you, but the gene seeds are not for you to take. Therefore, I can only say sorry. Berry Path God coldly hummed. There are no apologies involved. The God Chaos Party has always focused on those who assert strength and are stronger than their peers. If you have what it takes, then there should be nothing stopping you from killing me. I never expected you two vice presidents would be cooperating with each other in a bid to challenge me. What a good show. This is so rare. Before Berry Path God could speak, Ancient Devil said, I and Big Sky Demon are not friends, but the reason for that is because our personal opinions differ. A difference of opinion is not something that should develop into a personal grudge. While we were at the party, we were friends. Now the God Chaos Party is practically dead. There is no reason for us not to continue being friends. Big Sky Demon did not actually agree with Ancient Devil. She said, Ancient Devil, you do not have to sugarcoat all this. You and I were ready and willing to kill each other. On this gene seed matter, we have the same purpose. If we do no kill Berry Path God, neither of us can claim the gene seed. All we can do is cooperate. Humph. Even if you guys do manage to kill me, you will not be able to claim the gene seed. Do not forget that is what Mr. Leader left for the little leader. Do you guys really think Mr. Leader would not have a backup plan? Berry Path God coldly grunted. You do not have to occupy your mind about that, Big Sky Demon said. Her power started to rage. Hansen heard Berry Path God grunt as the power surged crazily through the Copper Hall. When his Dongxian aura reached the hall, it broke. He was unable to hear anything more. After hesitating, Hansen turned his head to look at the pool and gourd vine. He saw that the little white rat had yet to give up. It kept trying to climb the vine gourd but kept failing. Hansen thought, Berry Path God said something about the gene seed. He cannot be referring to this gourd vine, can he? Hansen looked at the gourd vine and believed it was true. Bao'er had come from a gourd. If the God Chaos Party's old leader really was going to leave her something, it made sense for it to be a gourd vine. Hansen thought, it is a shame that Bao'er is not here. Otherwise, whether it is or not, I could take the gourd vine first. As he was thinking, his heart suddenly jumped. I wonder if I will ever have the chance to come here again. I should at least try and take it with me. If I am able to, I can at least deliver to Bao'er. While Hansen was in thought, he drifted over to the pool. He witnessed the little white rat almost get killed by the gourd vine. He had actually seen this many times, so Hansen did not dare be reckless. He went into the water of the pool and swam to the gourd vine. Hansen had already made a plan. If the gourd vine's power was too strong, and he could not withstand the power, he could end up like the small white rat. He could use the power of the pool's water to repair his body. As he went in front of the gourd vine, Hansen put his body into xenogenic mode. The 4 Geno arts were able to break the world together. His entire body was wrapped up by black armor. Outside of his body, his form was ravaged by white, half-transparent fire. He reached his hand out and carefully grabbed the leaves of the gourd vine. Seeing Hansen was going to take the gourd leaf, the small white rat stopped trying to take the gourd vine. It floated in the water and watched. It opened its eyes wide. It did not look away while staring at Hansen's hand. As his fingers were about to touch the gourd and its leaves, Hansen felt rather conflicted. He made up his mind and grabbed the gourd leaf, ready to sustain a heavy amount of damage. The scary power attack did not show up. Hansen was able to grab the leaves of the gourd like they were any ordinary ones. No special kind of power zapped him. The weirdest thing about this was that the gourd vine, which showed no movement before, was now moving as if it was a living thing. The green vine touched Hansen's hand. It then went around his waist. It was like a snake coiling around him, including his arms. Hansen did not dare move. He sensed that the gourd vine was not doing this for any harmful purposes. He felt as if he had a bond with it. This gourd vine is really related to Bao'er. Hansen now knew for sure this was the case. There was an 80% to 90% chance that this was the gene seed the others were talking about. The small white rat's disaster was now in front of him. Hansen could not believe the God Chaos Party leader would leave something so prestigious behind. Yet he was able to pick it up so easily. Hansen could only think of one simple reason for why he was able to interact with the gourd vine, and that was because of his relationship with Bao'er. Although Hansen was not Bao'er's actual father, Bao'er accepted Hansen's blood to be born. When Hansen built his body in the sanctuaries, he borrowed Bao'er's power to build it. It was only normal for him to have Bao'er's presence. The gourd vine climbed onto Hansen's body. It was like a snake surrounding his body. In the end, the little green gourd vine came in front of Han's senator. A small gourd was hanging around in front of his forehead. It swung around his forehead. It was like it was trying to smell him. Hansen did not feel any hostility from the gourd vine, but he was still a bit nervous about all of this. After all, he was not Bao'er. Thus, he could not tell whether or not the gourd would approve him. While Hansen was feeling conflicted about all this, he saw the small green gourd shine like a lamp. It made the small gourd look like a green lamp. Hansen looked at the small gourd, unsure whether or not this was good or bad. Judging from the presence he could sense within the gourd, he thought it was weird. It was a presence that made Hansen feel strange, yet it was very familiar. The presence was like the black armor's power. It was not the same though. It was not as strong as the black crystal armor he knew. This was so soft. It was like a small stream. Chapter 3357 Gourd Seed Catcha. While Hansen was checking out the gourd, he witnessed the gourd suddenly break. It was like the little gourd was a lamp that fell from the gourd vine. When the gourd left the vine, the green gourd vine quickly died. It turned to dust that scattered across the ripples of the pool's water. After that, it disappeared. The small gourd continued to float in front of Han's senator. It kept flickering like a heartbeat. It was like a firefly constantly flickering. Hansen wondered if he should reach his hand out to grab the little gourd. The small white rat that had been watching all that time finally jumped out from the water. With its mouth opened wide, it revealed its sharp teeth. It was going to try and bite the small gourd. The small white rat's actions were too fast and sudden. Hansen's mind had been fixated on the gourd. When he noticed the rat, it was already too late. The small white rat opened its mouth wide. It swallowed the small, hand-sized gourd via its mouth. Before the gobbled gourd could reach its belly, there was some sort of catcha-catcha noise. The small white rat's teeth were all over the floor. Its body bounced away and went patong into the pond. The splashes were a few inches high. It was different from when it had been turned into charcoal after nibbling the vine. This time, the body of the small white rat had not been rendered charcoal. What happened to it was certainly scarier than the whole charcoal transformation attack. Now its body was like ice. When it hit the water, only then did it melt. Within a second, the small white rat's body became water just like the pond. Hansen was frozen after seeing that. The small white rat was not an ordinary thing. Its break world rate was obviously high, but it had only tried to bite the gourd before being reduced to nothing but water. That was a frightening thing to witness. Hansen had wondered if he should take the small gourd or not. Now he did not dare grab it. After the small white rat dissolved, the small gourd started to exhibit new changes. The shell of the gourd looked like glass. It had lots of cracks across the surface. It spread fast. It was going to shatter. Of course, in the blink of an eye, the gourd shell that was full of cracks went katcha and exploded. Han Sen's eyes opened wide. He looked at the gourd, which had suddenly been sundered into bits. He saw a dark red gourd seed floating amidst the rubble of its prior self. After the gourd exploded, the gourd seed went toward Han Senator without thinking. Han Sen took it. The dark red gourd seed landed in his hands. The light started to fade. It quickly looked like an ordinary seed. This gourd seed should be the Geno seed that Big Sky Demon and the others want, but what is the point of this thing? Are you supposed to just eat it like an ordinary seed? Han Sen looked at the gourd seed. He had no what he could do with it. It was just like a pumpkin seed except it was dark red. It looked crystal. It looked like it had been made of blood jade. He researched the gourd seed again and again, but he had been unable to find anything. Han Sen had no choice but to put it away and return to the pool. The small white rat did not show up again. He knew it had been killed. He felt kind of sad about it. The small white rat had helped him a lot, yet it had been killed like that. I wonder who that small white rat belonged to. Who was it? If it was able to traverse in and around the copper tablet, it must have had some ties to the God Chaos Party. Han Sen tried to guess. Either way, he had nothing he could use to prove and clear its identity. When he returned to the rat hole, Han Sen tried to use his Dongxian aura to squeeze through the hole of the copper pillar. He tried to peep on Big Sky Demon and her fight with the other two people beyond the hole. I do not know if there has been a result and victor in that fight yet, Han Sen thought. After the Dongxian aura reached the hall, he did not receive any resistance. He saw what was in the hole. Big Sky Demon, Ancient Devil, and Berry Path God were still there in the hall, but the situation they were in now was rather weird. The three of them were standing like a tripod. They were holding each other's hands. It was like there was an invisible power floating between the three people. It created a weird balancing mode. Big Sky Demon, you should be happy now. We were all supposed to win, and now you had to bring harm to yourself. Ancient Devil looked cold as he spoke. You and I would have had to fight eventually. I was just getting things prepared. If you and I were not thinking about the same thing, how were you able to block my Sky Demon dissolving body instantly? Big Sky Demon looked pretty. Her face did not look so well though. She was looking rather drained and pale. Ancient Devil said, "At least I did not fight you before we tried to kill Berry Path God." According to their conversation and the situation they seemed to be in, Han Sen could guess that Big Sky Demon suddenly bailed right when they were about to kill Berry Path God. She wanted to kill Ancient Devil and Berry Path God in one fell swoop. She had not expected that Ancient Devil was already prepared for that. Now the three of them were trapped together. Berry Path God quietly said, "If this continues, none of us will benefit. Why don't we just stop now while we're ahead? We can let bygones be bygones and have what happened between us today be nothing more than water under the bridge. We should use our own power to get the gene seed now." "Don't you even think about it," Big Sky Demon said with a curl of her lips. She looked at him disdainfully. "Considering Dust Sky is your territory, I highly doubt you will allow us to leave this realm safely. Even if we were allowed to leave safely, you are in Dust Sky. Like being in a moon tower, you get the moon first. We will have no chance to take the gene seed from you and escape." Ancient Devil was silent. He did not plan on giving up on what he had gone there for. Berry Path God could not convince them, so he asked, "Do you know a person called Qin Xiu? Why does it matter if I have heard of him?" Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon did not know why Berry Path God was mentioning Qin Xiu now of all times. "Do you not think that person is quite strange?" Berry Path God slowly said. "He was a human who traveled between the main and reverse universes. He kept chasing our leader. How many people were ever able to do something like that?" Big Sky Demon seemed to realize something, so she looked at Berry Path Sky and asked, "What are you trying to say?" Berry Path God was not in a big rush. He slowly said, "When our universe rebooted, humans were able to rise. There was a scary Wu Wei Dao Alpha who was born uniquely. Not even I would have been able to battle him. I suspect he would have become a leader or a reincarnation of the last God Hall leader. No way, Big Sky Demon said. If that was the reborn leader, he should have gone to the Geno universe. He died in the universe of kingdoms. Was he also able to reincarnate in the universe of kingdoms? It is like that according to the theory, but that is a strange point, Berry Path God said. The Wu Wei Dao Alpha did, however, have a gene prototype. Now Big Sky Demon and Ancient Devil changed their colors. They fell into deep contemplation. Ancient Devil went quiet before asking, "Are you sure he had a gene prototype?" Chapter 3358 The Leader's Real Face. Berry Path God nodded. I am not sure if Wu Wei Dao Alpha had the gene prototype or if Qin Xiu really is the Wu Wei Dao Alpha after reincarnating. Big Sky Demon and Ancient Devil retreated into deep thought. Berry Path God did not say anything more. It was not long before the entire hall fell silent. It was so quiet that if a pin was dropped, it would end up shattering people's eardrums. Is Qin Xiu the Wu Wei Dao Palace Alpha? Hansen pondered this too, but he was unable to receive an answer just yet. There was not a whole lot he knew about the Wu Wei Dao Palace or the Alpha, so there was no proper way for him to compare them. While he was thinking, something more happened inside that copper hall. A scary power exploded in the copper hall, scattering Hansen's Dongxian aura. Once again, he could no longer discern what was happening there. When Hansen witnessed the situation in the copper hall, the hall was empty. Nobody was there. Big Sky Demon, Ancient Devil, and Berry Path God were gone. There were bloodstains on the floor where they previously were. It was unknown if the bloodstains belonged to just one of them or all the three of them. Hansen quickly moved to explore the entire hall. He noticed there was a door on all four sides. 3 of those copper doors were open. It was unknown which door they departed from. That place was inside the Destiny Tablet. It had a weird power that blocked abilities, so Hansen could not his galaxy teleportation to enter or leave. His Dongxian aura was now blocked by the copper hall too. He could not tell where the 3 of them went. It looks like I will have to leave via the way I came in from. Hansen used Blood Pulse Sutra to morph his body into something that resembled a boneless snake. He entered the rat hole and followed the path through the copper pillars to reach the copper wall. He was going to go to the copper hall Big Sky Demon, and the others were previously in. Hansen entered the rat hole. He had not left yet when he heard the sound of gears starting to move. The copper hall he had just been inside of was slowly opening. Hansen's heart jumped. He went into the rat hole and looked toward the copper door. It was rising to reveal a weird shadow that belonged to Big Sky Demon. How did Big Sky Demon find this place so quickly? Hansen was shocked. He did his best to avoid being discovered by Big Sky Demon. Big Sky Demon entered the hall and looked at the pool. It was empty. The pool was only half full. She frowned and asked, "How can it not be here? Back then, Mr. Leader said the gene seed would be in this pool. Why is it not here now?" Big Sky Demon kept talking to herself as she went next to the pool. She looked at the bottom of the pool and noticed how clear it was. There were no clues to be found. At the bottom, there was no seed or anything remotely similar to what she wanted. This is weird. Mr. Leader would not lie to me. There is a gene fluid here, and the gene seed can only be grown here. Ergo, it begs the question, why is it not here? Was the universe rebooted too much in a rush that resulted in it being erased? Was Mr. Leader not able to put the gene seed inside the gene pool in time? If that was true, where could the gene seed even be? Big Sky Demon looked around. She then looked at the rat hole. Hansen was shocked. Although he knew Big Sky Demon would notice the rat hole, he was still a bit scared. He hid inside it a little harder. Big Sky Demon said to herself, "The Destiny Tablet has holes in it. It looks like Mr. Leader's Gemi rat is still alive, but the Gemide rat should not have had what it took to take the gene seed." She went closer to the rat hole, trying to find out more about it. Hansen used the Dongxian aura to hide his presence. He climbed the copper pillar and tried to go back. When Big Sky Demon spoke to herself, he was able to confirm he had taken the prestigious Gourd seed that was the gene seed god Chaos Party's old leader left behind. That meant he had been able to retrieve everything he needed there. It was now time for him to go. When Big Sky Demon came before the rat hole, she stopped. She looked at the copper hall's wall inside the chamber and then said, "Weird. I seem to remember this was not here before." Big Sky Demon turned around. She stood in front of the wall and did not move an inch. She was looking at something. Hansen wanted to walk away, but he got curious. He did not leave yet. He looked at the wall. In the past, Hansen focused on the gourd vine and the pool. He did not pay attention to the walls. He now noticed that there were some patterns on the wall. Now that he was looking at it, aside from the carvings in it, there was a depiction of a beast on that wall. A stone ring was on the beast's head nose. Big Sky Demon looked at it for a while. She reached out her hand and held the stone ring. She pulled it. She pulled out the stone ring, which led to the sound of cogs turning. The wall rose and revealed another copper hall. It wasn't really another copper hall. The copper hall behind it was connected to the copper hall she was in, so it was more of a wall to split the copper hall in half. Now the wall was rising, and the entire copper hall was showing. Hansen did not see what was in that hole before the copper hall arose, but Big Sky Demon screamed and kowtowed on the floor. "Mr. Leader." "No way. Is the God Chaos Party's leader not dead?" Hansen developed a cold sweat. He looked at the hall behind him. There was a bed in that hall. There was also a woman wearing white clothes. She was so pretty that she was like a jade statue. Looking between the eyebrows of the woman, Hansen got the sense that she looked like Bao'er. She was very pretty. She was lying on the bed with her hands holding her jaw. Her eyes were closed as if she was asleep. After Hansen took a closer look, he felt relieved. The woman looked lively, but it was a jade statue and not something that was actually alive. I did not expect the God Chaos Party leader to be such a beautiful woman. Hansen was shocked as he looked at the jade statue. Big Sky Demon had found out the secret too. She sighed and wiped away her cold sweat. She got up off the floor. "Mr. Leader, you almost scared me to death." Big Sky Demon patted herself on the chest. She noticed it was a statue, but she was still scared by it. She bowed and went peeking around the bed. Hansen was peeking around the bed and jade statue there too. He saw a book beneath the jade statue. The book was open. He could not see the cover, but he could see the contents of the text. Hansen used his Dongxian aura to get a better look. When he saw the contents of the book, he looked strange. "White jade Jing is up in the sky. 12 buildings, 5 cities. Fairies are above my head, and my hair grows. No way. Why is this poem here? Is the Jade Fairy that made the White Jade Jing, and the other Jade Fairies the God Chaos Party leader?" Hansen was very shocked. Chapter 3359 Bao'er's Destiny. If the old leader of the God Chaos Party was the fairy White King spoke about, it means that a long time ago, the old leader had already managed to break through the main and the reverse universes. She had managed to gain access to the Geno universe. Wait. Hansen's brain suddenly lit up as a scary thought crossed his mind. If I say that the God Chaos Party's leader was a creature that came from the Geno universe? Hansen thought the idea he had just come up with was rather mad. Then again, it was not something that could be deemed impossible either. After all, he did not have any facts to confirm his guesses. So he stopped thinking about it. Where the God Chaos Party leader came from did not seem to matter too much. Now Hansen only wanted to know what Gourd Seed's purpose was, and how it would benefit Bao'er. He did not know if it would be good or bad for her. Big Sky Demon saw the book as well, but she merely started turning its pages gently. As for grabbing the book, that was something she did not dare do. She was still scared. Although it was just a statue in that room, she did not want to show any disrespect. Big Sky Demon carefully went around the bed. She started searching around. She did not search too precisely. Big Sky Demon did not go rifling through all she saw. She just observed what she could. There was quite a lot of stuff in the hall. There was a bronze stove, bronze pot, bronze statue, and an instrument. There were bookshelves and bamboo scrolls. There was a great deal of many things. Big Sky Demon looked at them all, but she did not touch any of them. When Big Sky Demon saw one thing in particular, her body started to shiver. She lost her voice as she screamed, "Demon Heart Stove!" Hansen used his Dongxian aura to take a peek. He had a gander at the object that made Big Sky Demon freak out and start shaking like a madman. It was a 7-inch wide black metal stove. The stove was semicircular and adorned with floral patterns. It was black. It was unknown what it might have been made of. There were patterns of mysterious flowers, and it was releasing white smoke. Hansen was unable to tell what was so great about this thing. By comparison, Big Sky Demon was really thrilled by it. She was shaking a lot as she inched her way closer to the object that she had declared to be a demon heart stove. She looked very hesitant to approach it. Her hands slowly reached forward. Hansen could tell she was making a difficult decision, but she could not fight back the temptation. She held the demon heart stove. "Little daughter, you are back." When the demon heart stove was lifted, a female's voice was heard in the hall. It sounded lively and elegant. Dong, dong. Big Sky Demon stood still. The demon heart stove she clutched fell to the ground. She peered behind her with a look of disbelief. She turned her eyes to the jade statue. The jade statue was across the bed. It still appeared to be a stone, but the eyes possessed a life force. The face had a life force too. It was like the statue was alive. It was smiling at Big Sky Demon. Mr. Leader. Big Sky Demon jumped in front of the jade statue and started kneeling before it. She grabbed the hand of the jade statue, but was too crazed to speak words. "Little daughter, do not do this. This is one of the last remnants of my soul. If you are too excited and extinguish this last bit of my soul, I will be unable to speak to you." The jade statue raised its hand and stroked Big Sky Demon's hair like a mother who loved her child. "Mister, can you really not come back?" Big Sky Demon was always very flirty and renowned for playing and making fools out of everyone. She was now wholly different. She was like a little girl looking at the statue with watery eyes. It was as if she was praying for an answer. "Maybe. I am just a shred of a soul, so there are many things I do not know," the jade statue said with a sigh. It then asked Big Sky Demon, "Little daughter, have you seen my child?" "I have seen her," Big Sky Demon said. "She is great and beautiful. She is like you. She has an incredible array of talents and has managed to achieve all your grace. In the entire universe, I do not doubt there are none better than her. Being good might not be a good thing. I would much prefer her to become an ordinary child and lead a simple life." When the jade statue heard Big Sky Demon's words, she looked weird. She was happy and proud, but she was also worried. "Mister, are you worried the Geno Hall will not accept our little master?" "Do not worry. If I have guessed things correctly, the new God Hall leader knows the identity of Master Bao'er. He has not tried to do anything to Master Bao'er. Ergo, I do not think you need to worry too much about it." "The child's name is Bao'er," the jade statue said softly. It shone with a motherly light. "Yes, that is correct," Big Sky Demon said. "A mixed human took her as his own and gave her that name." "Has that person been treating Bao'er nicely?" the jade statue asked. "Good. Very good. He has been treating Master Bao'er like a real daughter. Master Bao'er loves him very much as well. That is why I have made no effort to take her away from him." Big Sky Demon's answers were at least making Hansen feel a whole lot better. "That is good to hear." The jade statue sighed. "It is good if Master Bao'er is like a normal child. We will not have to worry about her too much." "Mister, what do you mean?" Big Sky Demon looked at the jade statue with confusion. The jade statue sighed. "Bao'er's body has his genes. No matter how much the god spirits of the Geno Hall hate me, for his sake, they will not do anything to Bao'er. I do not worry about them." "Are you worried about the God Chaos Party harming the little master?" Big Sky Demon inquired. The jade statue shook her head. "The God Chaos Party has many elites. Most of them are ambitious, but they are mostly proud and old. Even Ancient Devil and Berry Path God are too focused on obtaining the seat of the leader. They care nothing for my child." After pausing, the jade statue's face looked cocky and proud. She then said, "With the genes my child has in this universe, very few people can hurt her." "In that case, what are you worried about?" Big Sky Demon looked at the jade statue with confusion. Aside from the God Chaos Party and the Geno Hall, she could not think who might want to harm Bao'er. "I am worried about a person." The jade statue went silent. A while later she said, "Only that person will be able to hurt Bao'er. Even if he does not hurt Bao'er preemptively, Bao'er will still have to face him. That is Bao'er's destiny. She will be unable to escape this." "But why? Who is this?" Big Sky Demon asked with shock. This was going much further than she expected it to. "Human Alpha." The jade statue spoke out these two words very slowly. Big Sky Demon froze. She had never heard of a human with that name before. Judging from the meaning of the name, there was every chance it was an alpha of the human race. According to Big Sky Demon's knowledge of humans, they did not have an alpha. In the universe of kingdoms, humans had their own ancestors that were not the same people. The jade statue seemed to already know what was now worrying Big Sky Demon, so she said, "He might not be using that name. Perhaps he has already reincarnated. I do not know what his name might be now. No matter how he reincarnates or how great his talent is, strong or weak, if that person can use my gene prototype armor, that is the person we are looking for." When Hansen heard all of that, his heart jumped. A name jumped into his mind. Qin Xiu. Chapter 3360 died away. Qin Xiu? Big Sky Demon almost screamed out at the same time. The jade statue quietly said, "I do not know what his name is here, so I do not know who this Qin Xiu you are referencing is. Regardless, it does not matter. He will return to his best shape eventually, and Bao'er will be the only one able to fight him. Little daughter, bring Bao'er here and let her accept the gene seed. She only stands a chance of winning if she does that." "Mister, where is the gene seed?" Big Sky Demon asked. When the jade statue heard that, she froze. She looked toward the pool with desperation. Her face changed. "Impossible. Except for my child, no other should have been able to take the gene seed." Big Sky Demon was shocked when she heard that. Does that mean the gene seed was in the pool at one point in time? The jade statue nodded and looked weird. It was placed there. Bao'er was the password for access. Even if Human Alpha came here, he would not have been able to take it. Who could have taken it? If the jade statue is like Bao'er's mom, we are relatives. That should enable me to explain this ability of mine, Hansen thought. He made the decision to emerge, speak, and explain things to her. If he did that, he could also get the statue to answer a few of his questions and explain what he needed to be elucidated. Before Hansen could even leave the rat hole, he saw someone else enter the copper hall. This time it was Berry Path God. "Mr. Leader?" When Berry Path God saw the jade statue, his reaction was just like that of Big Sky Demon. He immediately kneeled and bowed. "Little Berry, you are here too." The jade statue smiled at Berry Path God while she spoke. When Hansen heard that, he felt a flare of goosebumps claim his skin. The God Chaos Party's leader dished out nicknames almost as bad as Han Senator, seeing Berry Path God, who was very strong, be called Little Berry. Hansen felt as if it was rather difficult to believe. Berry Path God did not mind his nickname. He bowed and stood up to say, "Mr. Leader, you are still here." The jade statue shook her head and said, "This is but a remnant of my soul. It is the final part. It will soon fade away, so it is good that you are here. Please take care of my child in the future." Berry Path God seriously said, "Mr. Berry Path God, promise you no one will bring harm to your child for as long as I live. But please forgive me. I will not be able to treat him as the leader of the 33 Skies and God Chaos Party." The jade statue coldly laughed and said, "That is fine. It does not matter to me. I am happy as long as she is alive." After that, the jade statue pointed at the copper rack and said, "There is something there I would like to give you. You should not have any difficulty recognizing it. You should take it with you." Berry Path God raised his head. His eyes glimmered and shone. He could not help himself from screaming and saying, "That is the Sky Path picture. Are you really giving this to me, mister?" Berry Path God's voice trembled. Obviously, his heart was beating intensely. "If you want it, it can be yours," the jade statue coldly said. Even people like Berry Path God could not contain their glee if something prompted it. With hands that quaked, he gently picked up the picture he was given. He kneeled before the statue and said, "Do not worry, mister. For as long as I am alive, I will not allow anyone to bully the little master. It brings me relief to hear you feel this way, but gauging the future is a difficult prospect these days, the jade statue coldly said. All I can hope is that you try your best. Berry Path God wanted to say something, but he suddenly heard a voice come from the copper hall. It was Ancient Devil greeting Mr. Leader. Ancient Devil had finally reached the copper hall. Just like Berry Path God, he kneeled before the statue. Although that was just a statue that contained a fragment of the leader's soul, he did not dare disrespect it. I am glad you are here, the jade statue coldly said. I do not have much time. I am so happy for being able to see you three before I depart. Ancient Devil, there is an item for you too. You should go and take it. There is also something I wish to say to you all. Ancient Devil did not delay. He walked to the copper rack and collected an item. He put it in his sleeve, and then performed a bow to the jade statue. From the beginning to the end, Ancient Devil did not seem as intense as Berry Path God and Big Sky Demon were. Hansen was still able to notice a weird glint in Ancient Devil's eyes. When Ancient Devil returned to the jade statue, Big Sky Demon started to speak. Mister, you can tell us anything you want to. The jade statue looked at the three of them. She sighed and said, You three have always been close to me. While we may not share a blood connection, you are as good as children to me. Mister, we have always regarded you as family, Sky Demon said. I came to that acknowledgement a long time ago. Berry Path God and Ancient Devil did not speak. Judging from the looks in their eyes, what the jade statue was saying was getting them emotional. They just didn't have to express it in words. The jade statue went on to say, I have never begged anything of anyone, even that person. I never begged him to do anything, but there is something I must beg you three for. Mr. Leader, please tell us. Ancient Devil and the three of them all bowed profusely. Other people did not understand the leader, but they did. Back in the day, if a person said something softly, this entire thing would not have happened. Now she was saying the word beg. That was rare. Even if the person that controlled the Geno Hall and the whole Geno universe had not begged before. Find the gene seed and take it to my child, the jade statue said with a serious look. Without it, my child will not live. Do you not have the gene seed? Berry Path God and Ancient Devil weren't around earlier to hear what was spoken. They did not know the gene seed was gone. I do not have time. Let little daughter tell you. The jade statue smiled at the three of them. In this life, it was very nice meeting you. The three of them shivered. They wished to say something, but the jade statue closed its eyes. It was like some spirit shattered inside the statue. It rendered the jade statue devoid of a spirit. It became an inanimate object and nothing greater. Mr. Big Sky Demon looked teary and screamed. Berry Path God looked at Ancient Devil. They both bowed before the statue. After bowing, Berry Path God stood up and looked at Big Sky Demon. He asked, Big Sky Demon, what's going on? Who took the gene seed? Big Sky Demon explained all that had happened, but Berry Path God and Ancient Devil weren't buying her story. Big Sky Demon, do not think you can take the gene seed for yourself and then lie to us, Berry Path God said. This belongs to the little master, so none of us can take it. Big Sky Demon grunted. It does not matter if you do not believe me. Without you guys, I can still find the gene seed for Master Bao'er. Ancient Devil did not speak. He looked into the hall, but it could not be discerned what he was thinking. If the gene seed is not here, then you should go back. Dusk Sky does not welcome you. Berry Path God looked at the items in the hall. He spoke to them coldly. Berry Path God, you are so selfish. Are you not afraid of karma? Big Sky Demon looked at him with disdain. She knew those items were priceless. Chapter 3361 Question Han-sun was planning on stepping out to reveal himself. When Berry Path God and Ancient Devil appeared, he hastily shelved the idea. Berry Path God and Ancient Devil had agreed to claim the gene seed and give it to Bao'er. Deep inside, what they were really thinking was something only they knew. If Han-sun went out now, and they thought he had the gene seed, it was difficult to gauge what might happen. My poor Bao'er. She does not even get to see her birth mother. Hansen sighed. He remained waiting and hiding, watching what was going on outside the hole. Hansen did not know what items the God Chaos Party leader had left behind. He did not know what any of them were for. Judging from the faces of Berry Path God and Ancient Devil, he knew they had to be something special. Aside from the free items they took away, there were at least 100 items left to take in the hidden hall. For as long as just a few of them were worth something, they were enough to attract people to commit crimes for them. When a sword was drawn and a bowstring pulled, Ancient Devil looked outside the hall. Ancient Devil, where are you going? Big Sky Demon asked. Ancient Devil said, Mr. Leader gave me what I deserved. She did not say she would give anything else to me, so they are not mine to take. He ignored their reaction. He left the hall, and did not touch anything more. Berry Path God and Big Sky Demon looked as if they were deep in thought. They did not know if Ancient Devil wanted to leave now and wait until they were injured before swooping in to mop up the goodies or what. They weren't sure if he had learned something the others hadn't either. They couldn't be sure if he knew they weren't supposed to touch the items there or what. Big Sky Demon looked at the items in the hall. She suddenly laughed and said, Ancient Devil is right. Mr. Leader is like my mother. She gave me all she could. If she did not give the items to me, I should not take them. You can keep the items if you want to. After that, Big Sky Demon turned around and left the hall. Now, only Berry Path God remained in the hall. The situation seemed to be much improved, but Hansen was still secretly complimenting them. He thought Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon were people who were tough to deal with. They were afraid the God Chaos Leader had done something to the other items, so they did not dare take them. That was why they decided to leave. They deliberately left those things behind for Berry Path God, so he could test their safety before them. Even if Berry Path God took the items and nothing more happened, he would not be able to use all of the items anyway. Berry Path God seemed to know what Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon were thinking, so he coldly grunted. You guys might be scared, but I am not scared. Whatever I get, no other can take. Without hesitating, Berry Path God took the legacy items. He spoke proudly, but he was still being extremely careful. He pulled out a sword and carefully poked a wine barrel. He was really soft and gentle. The wine cask was picked up slowly. It came before Berry Path God. Nothing else really happened. Berry Path God felt grand relief. Berry Path God then picked up the rest of the items. His sleeves were like bottomless chasms in which anything could fit, all without a modicum of trouble. Berry Path God was being extremely careful when picking up all these items. It had been half an hour by now. It was around then that he finished collecting all the items and stuffing them into his sleeves. Mister, putting the items in there is pointless. Why don't you let me use them all, so I can work harder for Little Master? Berry Path God bowed to the jade statue. He then took all of the items and left the hall with them. When Berry Path God left the hall, the copper door closed. Hansen wondered if he should leave, but he gave up on that idea. He planned to leave via the rat hole. Before the door closed shut, Hansen heard Berry Path God coldly shout, Big Sky Demon, I knew you would do this. Immediately after, there was some scary striking sound. Hansen shook his head. If this was in the past, he would have liked to take the treasure too. Now he had the gene seed. There was no point in needlessly exposing himself. God Chaos Party leader said that item mattered to Bao'er's life. Without a gene seed, Bao'er might not survive. Hansen only wanted to bring the gene seed back to Bao'er safely, and hoped nothing went wrong. Pang! The copper door completely closed. Hansen was readying himself to leave when he suddenly saw the jade statue possess a mysterious halo. The jade statue, which had closed its eyes, suddenly opened them again. Since you are here, why do you not come and meet me? The jade statue asked with a smile. Its eyes that looked like crystals were peering at the rat hole. Hansen was shocked. This one is strong. It is just a remnant of her soul. Yet she made Big Sky Demon and the other two be all messed up. She had them believe the soul remnant was gone, but it is actually still here. It is just a remnant of a soul. Yet she was able to find me. She is much better than Big Sky Demon and the other two people. Cough. Ancient Devil was here. I did not want to reveal myself and disturb the others. Hansen coughed and walked out of the rat hole. He bowed before the jade statue. The jade statue looked at Hansen with interest. A while later, she said, "You are good." "What?" Hansen was shocked. The jade statue's words did not really make sense. He did not know how to respond to her. "You are the one that raised my daughter. Han Senator, you are Mr. Han, yes?" The jade statue did not respond to Han Senator, she merely smiled at him. "I am Hansen, but I am not really a Mr. Before the greatest person in the universe, Hansen did not want to sound cocky. "You did a good deed for my daughter, so of course, you are considered a Mr. I should be thanking you a great deal." After pausing a moment, the jade statue said, "If you have a wish to make, you can tell it to me, and I can fulfill it." Before Hansen could speak, the jade statue blinked. "But I am just a soul. If it is something too hard, I may not be able to satisfy you." Hansen's head developed a lot of black lines. He did not think this God Chaos Party leader was this sort of person. "I treat Bao'er like a real daughter," Hansen said. "I do not need a wish, but there are a few problems I want to quiz you about." "You may speak," the jade statue nodded. "Why do you say Bao'er won't live without a gene seed? And why must that person fight Bao'er?" Hansen asked her the questions he cared about the most. In fact, Hansen really hated this. The so-called destiny was just an elder's wish forced down on their inheritors. As Bao'er's mother, the God Chaos Party should not have shouldered Bao'er with so much. The jade statue looked at Hansen with surprise and sighed. "Bao'er was raised by you." "It is her pleasure. It was my luck too." After pausing, the jade statue sighed and said, "I do not want Bao'er to fight him. If he knows Bao'er is my daughter, he will look for a way to kill her. As a mother, I want my child to live a happy life. Why would I want her to fight other people?" Chapter 3362, Who is Human Alpha? Why must he kill Bao'er? Hansen wanted to figure out why this was the case. The jade statue looked at Hansen and said, "That doesn't matter anymore. You just need to know that Human Alpha will not give up on Bao'er. If Bao'er does not have the gene seed, she cannot go against Human Alpha. No matter what, please deliver the gene seed to Bao'er for her to live." "Do not worry," Hansen said with a look certainty. "I will take this gene seed and put it in her hands. Plus, I will not allow anyone to bring harm to Bao'er, no matter who that person is." The jade statue shook her head and said, "You are already strong, but you cannot beat Human Alpha. Only Bao'er can once she receives the gene seed. In this universe, no one can do combat with Human Alpha and succeed. This is Bao'er's destiny. Therefore, you must survive. Give the gene seed to Bao'er. Until then, you must hold on. In this universe, there are no absolutely invincible beings, right?" Hansen asked. "I should be able to find a way to beat him. If I cannot do it alone, I can find other elites to help me. I will find a way." "Things are not that simple," the jade statue said. "You do not understand Human Alpha, which is why you feel this way." She then went silent. Not long after, she sighed and said, "If you really want to protect Bao'er, you have to bring her the gene seed. That is the best chance she has of surviving." Hansen could see the God Chaos Party leader was still refusing to divulge details on the grudge with Human Alpha, and knew there was something about all of this she could not reveal. Ergo, he decided to stop asking her questions about it. "I saw Bao'er enter the 33 skies, but I am not sure which sky she entered," Hansen said after looking at the jade statue. That was the biggest problem he was currently facing. If he could not find Bao'er, then everything up until now was all for nothing. Bao'er is in the 33 skies? That is bad. The Geno tablet has already returned to its origin. If my real body was there, I could find her. Now, I am just a leftover remnant of a soul. I can't do anything about it. The worst thing about all this is you and Big Sky Demon suggesting Qin Xiu might be the Human Alpha, and his power is best to its best potential shape. If he sees Bao'er now, he might be able to recognize her. As far as I know, Qin Xiu did not have many talents when he was young." Hansen asked with curiosity. Could he be Human Alpha reborn? Although reincarnation likely erased the memories a spirit possessed, people who were as strong as Human Alpha would carry with them a strong gene message even if they reincarnated. He could not have reincarnated into garbage that could not practice. If it was not for Wan'er giving her blood to Qin Xiu would not have even been able to practice. Could a person like that really be who human alpha reincarnated as? The jade statue said, "This is normal. Me and Bao'er's father did something to the soul. Even if he reincarnated, he would have been restricted. He would not be able to pass the last stage. With his power, getting past the restrictions is only a matter of time. Perhaps in this life, he has already broken past the restrictions and become something more. If he can do that, he might be able to complete the final step. The only thing that can fight him is me and Bao'er's father, and our genetic child Bao'er." The God Chaos Party leader sounded remarkably chill, but Hansen could tell she was very proud of Bao'er. There cannot be just two genetics. Bao'er used my blood to be born, so her genes should have a part of me inside her. Hansen only thought that. He did not dare say it aloud. The jade statue did not look at Han Senator. It did not feel anything weird. She thought about it for a while. She then looked at Han Sun and said, "Right now, our only hope of finding Bao'er is you." "How can I even do that?" Hansen quickly asked. "Your body has some of Bao'er's genes. You can use a special method to activate the gene message you have, because of your connection with Bao'er. You will be able to feel where she is. By doing this, you might have a big problem. You will have a lot of burdens in your body. It will mess up your own gene message. It might even change your gene message." The jade statue was not planning on hiding these issues. "If there is no other way, then I guess I will have to do it," Hansen said. "Plus, even if I can feel Bao'er, I cannot even go past the 33 skies barriers. I will be unable to find her." "Let me handle that for you," the jade statue said. Her eyebrows looked a bit dewy as she said, "This will take the last bit of my power. After that, I will be gone forever. Bao'er will only have you to depend on. Don't worry. I told you I won't let any harm come to Bao'er because she is my daughter just as much as yours." Hansen then thought of something. He decided to ask, "Are you the fairy of the white jade Jing?" The jade statue smiled and said, "The white jade Jing was what I was born with." Although Hansen could guess the God Chaos Party leader was from the Geno universe, he was still shocked hearing her voice confirm it. In those endless years, there had been a person who managed to break the main and reverse universes, and almost broke the ruling of the god spirits in the reverse universe. That was something no other person had done before. Hansen wished to ask something, but the jade statue's spirit light broke out of its body. It shot into Hansen's forehead. It resulted in a voice playing into Hansen's ears. "There is nothing more I can give you, but I do believe you will do all in your power to help Bao'er. Now the only person I can put my faith in is you. Before you accomplish what you need to, you must be careful. Deliver the gene seed to Bao'er. If you see one black and one white Geno prototypes combined, that person is the human alpha. If the Geno prototype is not on his body, that means he has already managed to break the restrictions. You and Bao'er must be more careful than ever." After that, the spirit light went into Hansen's forehead. Hansen felt as if there was some really clear power coming into his brain. His body was like an erupting volcano, and he was melting in its midst. All of his cells became steel juice. 2 Geno prototypes, one and one white, combined. Hansen's brain kept thinking about the God Chaos Party leader's final words. He also felt compelled to think about the ultimate egg. Is Wu Wei Dao Alpha also human alpha? Did God Chaos Party leader create the ultimate egg and leave it for him and his soul? Time did not permit Hansen to think about all of that for too long. The God Chaos Party leader's spirit power was like a firework in a barrel of fireworks. Hansen's gene messages exploded, and a part of his gene messages was reinforced. Chapter 3363 Fighting Leader. When the explosive feeling was gone, Hansen's body started to calm down. It was not as bad as God Chaos Party leader had said. God Chaos Party leader's final spirit power modified a part of his genes. It did not mess up his gene messages. After it was modified, Hansen's sense powers, which always felt like they were there but not there, were stronger than ever. It enabled Hansen to find where Bao'er was. That sense power only worked between Hansen and Bao'er. His other senses did not become stronger. That sense power was more like a deepening connection between his genes. God Chaos Party Leader did not lie to me. I am able to feel Bao'er. Han Sen was thrilled by this. He also sensed that Bao'er could now feel him as well. He knew she was coming his way. God Chaos Party Leader said she would be able to help me sort out how to navigate through the 33 skies. I wonder if she has sorted that out for me yet. Han Sen ceased his hesitation. He bowed to the jade statue and returned to the rat hole. He ignored Big Sky Demon and the others. He returned via the way he came in. He reached the entrance where the evil god Beard proved troublesome. This time, before Han Sen could even get close to the evil god Beard, the evil god Beard moved back. It was like it was meeting someone scary. It hurried away to avoid him. Han Sen rushed out from the copper tablet and peered into Dust Sky's sky. He then flew up high. He headed into space. He wanted to break the Dust Sky barrier and reach the next sky. Han Sen felt that Bao'er was someplace above him. Although he did not know which floor, he knew she was above him. When Han Sen reached Dust Sky's barrier, he felt a lot of pressure. The rule powers of Dust Sky were attempting to suppress him. He suddenly felt a weird, clear message surge through his body's cells. Dust Sky's rule powers combined and made Han Sen go through the barrier and reach the 11th sky. The 11th sky was a flower world. It was full of flowers and vines. There were countless swarms of bees and butterflies soaring through the skies, harvesting nectar. Han Sen had only just entered the 11th sky when he felt as if there was a weird power landing on him. Because he had the weird spirit power protecting him, the rule powers did not invade his body. With that spirit power mixing, it accepted him. The God Chaos Party's leader really is different. It was only a remnant of her soul that did this. Yet it clearly demonstrates vast power. Han Sen could not help but compliment it. In fact, Han Sen overestimated the God Chaos Party leader's leftover spirit power. Aside from the fact that the God Chaos Party was very strong, the reason why this happened was due to another important reason. She used to be the Geno tablet's master. She was the one that designed the 33 skies. No one could be more understanding of the ways that place worked than her. Although she was not the master of the Geno tablet anymore, she could still use some of her power to enable Han Sen to have a free reign of travel in the 33 skies. Han Sen did not stop. He kept going up to a higher place. He could tell that Bao'er was not in the 11th sky. She was somewhere higher, so that was where Han Sen was going to go. Han Sen kept breaking through all the skies he could. The barriers of the 33 skies were unable to deny his passing. The spirit power's presence combined with the barriers each time. It made the barriers become a part of Han Sen, letting him pass through easily each time. Han Sen felt Bao'er's presence become stronger with each sky he scaled. Bao'er was happily flying toward him at the same time. There was only one sky left separating the two. Han Sen broke through the barrier again, reaching the 15th sky. This time, he could feel Bao'er was nearby. Of course, before Han Sen saw Bao'er, he had already heard Bao'er's voice in the distance. She indicated that she was on the way just as he was for her. Dad. I cannot believe it. After all this time, it looks like I have finally found you. When Han Sen saw Bao'er, she had already jumped to him. Beside her was a flying fish, and a small cat lying on her head. When Han Sen held her, he complained. Did I not ask you to wait in the Fang's family castle? Why did you come to this place all alone? I should hit you. After Han Sen said that, he lifted his hands and smacked Bao'er on the bum. He raised his hands high but smacked gently. Bao'er blushed. There was this old man saying you were in danger in this place. He told me to go and help you, but he was clearly lying. You are doing just fine here. How dare that old man curse you? The next time I see him, I am going to twist his ears off. Han Sen was shocked. He looked at Bao'er as he asked her, Old liar? Do you mean Han Jinji? Yes, it was that old liar, Bao'er said with a nod. Han Sen's face changed. He thought, what did Han Jinji mean? Why would he trick Bao'er into going to the 33 skies? Does he know Bao'er's true identity? Plus, who really is Han Jinji? Han Sen was still so curious about who Han Jinji was. Even now he was not sure if Han Jinji was his real family. Suddenly Han Sen's heart jumped. He quickly clutched Bao'er and left the area. Pang! A beam of fire suddenly came down from the sky. It was like spring water, but the beam of fire was a pure beam of fire. It blew 30,000 feet into the sky and came to an end. Hansen held Bao'er. He looked in a certain direction. He saw something red with wings on its back. It looked like a tiger. Its tail was still burning with fire. It was a break-world beast. It was standing on a cliff, staring at Hansen and Bao'er. How dare you enter my 15th sky? Do you have a death wish or something? The break-world beast roared. It was a roar that shocked the sky. Its roar shocked the whole sky. The whole 15th sky shook because of its roar. It was like a big earthquake. Fire geysers kept opening up on the ground. Each one sent 30,000-foot-height pillars of fire into the sky. It made the 15th sky look like purgatory. Break-world beast had a weird fire-like symbol on its forehead. It created a resonance in the 15th sky. The 15th sky's fire power kept going to the break-world beast, making the break-world beast's presence and atmosphere become scarier. At the same time, the Geno tablet's 15th sky text started to light up. It was like a fire that was burning. It was brighter than the text of any sky. 15th sky leader. Ultimate tail fire beast. The main and the reverse universe creatures could see the Geno tablet, but they had no idea what was going on. The 15th sky's leader had only appeared a few days ago, but it was now lighting up again. That had never happened before. Before, all the leaders of each sky would only have their names shine on the tablet when a sky was first claimed. Now the 15th sky's leader's name was flickering again. That had to mean it was something quite profound. As the 15th sky and its leader's name flickered, everyone in the 33 skies, which looked like a headstone, were curious. Hansen saw a ring shining on the Geno tablet. If he calculated correctly, he knew it was not too hard to take over the 15th sky. Chapter 3364. The focus of 10,000 races. Boom. The Geno tablet was shining. The tablet unleashed light in 4 directions. It revealed a purgatory-like scene that was ravaged by fire. A red beast was standing on a broken cliff in the sea of fire. It raised its head and roared with the volume of thunder. The scorch marks that represented him as the leader were on his forehead, and they were glowing. The main and revere universe creatures watching saw the scene. No matter how stupid they were, easily guessed that the big red beast was the leader of the 15th sky, ultimate tail fire beast. The scene the Geno tablet depicted was the 15th sky and its burning red sky. They did not understand why the burning red sky was exhibiting these changes. Even the Geno tablet was showing the burning red sky. That was very rare. They were quickly given the answers they sought. That was because a few people were in the shadow of the Geno tablet. A young man was holding a little girl, who was 5 or 6 years old. The little girl was holding a little red cat. There was also a flying fish flying around her with wings. Not many people knew about the girl and the 2 pets. But the man's identity made the creatures of the main and reverse universe scream. Hansen! Why is he in the 15th sky? Dollar is finally going to do something. Who said the Geno universe has nobody? What is he doing in the 15th sky? Shouldn't he be trying to take down another sky and secure a leader seat? That is what Dollar God does. You can be a leader, but he will wait until you become one and dethrone you. Holy shit. It looks like it is real. Dollar God is going to be so powerful. Dollar God, you can chill out. Don't scare off the reverse universe assholes. The people in the Geno universe kept talking. As the strongest leader of the Geno universe, most of the high races and low races supported Han Sr. That asshole. He always makes people worry. In Space Garden, Han Yufei lifted her glasses and smiled. Qin Xian, Tang Zhenliu, and the others who saw Hansen and Bao'er were fine felt a huge rush of relief overtake them. They could not, however, see Wang Yuhang. That worried them quite a bit. Wang Yuhang had gone into the 33 skies to look for Han Senator now. Hansen had appeared, but Wang Yuhang was missing. In the universe of kingdoms, many people spoke about Han Senator. They especially did in the Qin kingdom. Many people saw Hansen up there on the Geno tablet, and they all looked conflicted. That evil officer better die in the 33 skies so that he cannot come back and wreak havoc and harm on the Qin kingdom again. A loyal Qin kingdom officer prayed as he gnashed his teeth in spite. San Mu went to the 33 skies. Is he trying to take the leader's seat? Qin Bai looked excited. He held a bowl of seeds and kept eating them as he watched. King Qin's face looked a whole lot more conflicted. He did not have much life left in him. With Han Sen not around, his body had become much worse. He was probably not going to live much longer. He wanted to use Han Sen and Qin Bai's relationship to allow Qin Bai to become king. But Han Sen did not like to be ordered around. He was a headstrong character driven by his own volitions, and never on the whims of others. One could not trust him much. If Han Sen was the same as teacher Jian, that would be great. King Qin continued to miss his old teacher, Jian Bugu. In the Geno Hall and all the god halls, many god spirits focused on this fight. They knew more about this than ordinary people and creatures. The Geno tablet was on the same level as the Geno Hall. It could even replace the Geno Hall as a place that could be used to suppress the sky. Now, every leader in the 33 skies was considered a god figure. If there were any changes with the leader, it would have a big impact on the future. Plus, this fight now involved Han Senator. They wanted to see how far Han Sen had gone, and how far he could still go. God Hall leader looked at Han Sen in the burning red sky with interest. He said to himself, "This guy has improved quite a bit. Can he walk out of this and carry on to face off against Qin Xiu?" Qin Xiu, who had just been mentioned by God Hall leader, was watching the fight too. All the world's new leaders were watching this fight. Many leaders did not understand that even if they did assume the position of leader, there was a chance they would not remain as a leader for all of time. When Han Sen stood in front of the ultimate tailfire beast, the Geno tablet exhibited a lot of movement. Everyone now realized that the leaders could be challenged and risked the prospect of losing their position. He does not have what it takes. That ultimate tailfire beast's break world rate has reached 95%. How dare Han Sen think he can challenge ultimate tailfire beast? Some people knew ultimate tailfire beast had made some noise in his time there. He had scared entire systems. Even if he does have a break world rate above 95%, a break world rate is useless. He will still lose. Ultimate Tailfire Beast is the leader of the burning sky. He is a fire break world beast. He has the buffs of a red and fire-filled sky. Yet Han Sen dares to challenge him. He must have a death wish. A scary creature from the Chu Kingdom made a sound that shocked all of the Chu Kingdom. Not bad. The pride of a sky leader is not easily challenged. I am afraid this kid will not even have a dead body left to bury. Many break world beasts of the universe of kingdoms were speaking. Ever since the Wu Wei Dao Alpha created the Wu Wei Dao Palace, humans were able to take over the universe of kingdoms. The gene races had been suppressed for a very long time. Now that was on its head. The entire universe changed. Too many life souls were possessing the gene races, and that made the gene races jump higher on the food chain and evolve. They were starting to have a power that made them able to fight back against humans. The fight between Ultimate Tailfire Beast and Han Sen made the break world beasts that came from gene races willing to speak for Ultimate Tailfire Beast. They were willing to show their power and have it serve as an example to scare off humans. There were some upset voices amidst the humans, but at this point, no one was willing to speak for Han Senator. Most people from the Qin Kingdom thought Han Sen was evil. Those from the other 6 kingdoms did not have a good impression of Han Sen either. They would not risk speaking positively about him. Only the Feng family castle's Feng Fei sisters and the Zhao family sisters were worried about Han Sen's welfare. Jian Bugu was his usual self, tidying the garden Han Sen and Bao'er used to use. When he saw Han Sen appear on the video stream across the Geno tablet, he stopped working and looked into the sky. Ultimate Tailfire Beast flapped its wings. It opened its mouth, but it did not spit out fire. The fire, which was like an endless sea, went into his mouth. It went right into its body. It was just a beast with a body that possessed a tail that was on fire. Now his entire body was on fire. When he sucked in the sea of fire, the fire blazed stronger. It was like a beast of fire stepping off a cliff. The cliff was melting with its feet. It made lots of steel juice drip. It is no wonder he is a sky leader. With the red burning sky power buff, Ultimate Tailfire Beast's break world rate has increased. When someone saw this, they were shocked. Chapter 3365 Ice, Fire. Double Sky Tail Fire Beast's body was on fire. Its eyes were burning like a vortex of lava. It looked at Han Sen with an overbearing aura. It then unleashed a geyser of fire. The fire was very unique. Just as it left the tail fire beast's mouth, it activated all the fire elements in the universe's universal cogwheels. The power of the fire subdued the rules of all the others. It created an absolute fire rule seal. This was an absolute break-world power. It was the type of power only break-world creatures that had a break-world rate over 90% could use. It was very close to an ultimate aura. As a sky full of fire descended, all the rules were replaced by fire rules. The fire scorched the entire world. Han Sen did not plan on backing down. He used his jade skin to break the world. A mysterious ice jade marking revealed itself. It came together to become an ice jade ball that put Han Sen, Bao'er, and the two pets inside its protection. He has a break world rate that is only 60%. This fight is going to lack excitement. The break world beasts that watched Han Sen saw his break world mark and acknowledged that he was not spawning an absolute by Sema. They were all coldly laughing at him. It was just a layer of power. The tailfire beast had a burning red sky power buff to fuel its strength, and it looked as if the fight was going to be over very soon. Pang! The fire was like a disaster coming down. It buried Han Sen and his ice jade shield with endless streams of fire that seemed able to bully the world. The whole burning red sky became a purgatory of fire. Everything was melting. It was such a scary scene that everyone was shaking. Tailfire Beast was like a god beast that managed fire. It made people feel scared just seeing it. The creatures watching were shocked. They thought Tailfire Beast had taken the advantage and beat Han Senator. The Breakworld beasts were so excited that they roared. The Geno universe's creatures looked terrible. If the Geno universe's strongest elites lost, they would not stand a chance. Are Sanmu and Bao'er okay? Qinbai asked with worry. Chapter 3366 Killing Tailfire Beast. While everyone's emotions were in the realm of weirdness, something strange happened. A vortex appeared in the sea of fire. A lot of fire went into the vortex. Everyone was quickly able to see Han Sen's holy body manifest inside the swirl. It was a bit different from what they previously believed. Han Sen had not been melted by the flame power. Instead, he had become very strange. The outside of his body was covered with an ice crystal shield, but the ice crystal shield had turned into a weird, screw-shaped thing that looked like a sea conch hooking outside Han Sen's body. The crazy fire went inside the sea conch shield. It followed the sea conch shape like a screw going inside. It looked like many fire dragons were surrounding Han Sen's body and dancing strangely. The fire power kept going in. It made the fire vortex in the shield go faster. The fire was restricted in the movement and controlled by the ice jade power. Its mass was going to be suppressed. It created a weird vortex. It could not get close to Han Sen's body. Let's see just how much you can endure. After witnessing this scene, Tailfire Beast did not stop. It coldly laughed and made the fire rage at Han Sen with even greater ferocity. The burning red sky lacked everything but fire. It was going to break Han Sen's sea conch shell shield. The transparent sea conch shield was hit with more fire. The whole sea conch turned red like a sculpture made out of red crystal. The fire inside was red and burning. The flames looked white and gold. It made the people spectating start to worry. They thought the shield might be melted by the fire. Yet Han Sen's face remained as still and stoic as ever. His situation appeared dangerous, but it was not as dangerous as others might have imagined. He used the White Sheep Fairy's hollow structure to separate a few pipelines in the sea conch shell. It looked like there was only one fire inside it. In fact, it was separated into many different paths of fire. The self-impact power was used to suppress it all during the process. Of course, that was just the first step. Han Sen ultimately did not want to control the fire. When the whole sea conch shell turned purple and white, Han Sen's eyes blazed with a cold light. He reached out his fingers. The sea conch shell rose up and became smaller in space. It turned into a marble-sized sea conch shell in Han Sen's hands. There was a very strong sense of suppression in that mini sea conch fire. Han Sen looked at Tail Fire Beast and put the sea conch between his thumb and middle finger. He flicked it at Tail Fire Beast. Tail Fire Beast felt the scary flame power inside the sea conch, but it was not afraid. It coldly laughed and asked, "Do you want to use this power to beat me? You must be far too naive to believe that is possible. Even if you put your flame power into it at its max, as long as it is fire power, it will obey me. No matter how strong it is, it will not hurt me. What you have done has only helped me. It is also enough to kill you." After that, Tail Fire Beast shot out another scary fire. He was going to break the sea conch and release the undying suppression fire inside. He was going to use that fire to burn Han Sr. It is scary to be ignorant. What a dumb fool with just limbs and power. Han Sen coldly looked at Tail Fire Beast but did not do anything. Pang! The fire arrow struck the sea conch. The fire arrow's power worked with the fire inside from the outside. The sea conch suddenly cracked. The purple-white fire flowed out of it, burying everything around. Han Sen and Tail Fire Beast were drenched in the fire. "Humans are so naive," a scary Breakworld beast said with a great look of disdain for the exhibit. He wants to use suppressive fire to kill Tail Fire Beast. Does he not know the burning red skies leader Tail Fire Beast is a fire god? No fire can hurt him. Many powerful creatures thought Han Sen had used the wrong skill as well. Against the burning red skies leader, fire was useless. Suppressing fire was not stable. It suddenly released a scary power, which quickly vanished. When the purple and white fire was suppressed, everyone was able to see what was happening on the battleground. Han Sen was still safe standing on the ground and holding Bao'er. There was a sea conch shield outside of his body. It guided the fire to spin inside it. It reduced half of the explosive impact. While it was in the air, Tail Fire Beast was riddled with several holes. The lava-like blood of the beast was gushing out. Its eyes were rendered into smoky holes. How was that possible? Many scary creatures looked on in disbelief. Tang Xunliu lost his voice as he laughed and said, "Ah, typical. It really does appear as if those dumb Breakworld beasts have a really low level of intelligence. Do they not know anything? Do they not understand what bullet theory is? The real deadly fire is not the energy of its explosion. It is the substances that are pushed by energy." Tail Fire Beast was bleeding lots of blood that looked like lava. It roared, wanting to stir up another incendiary storm. As it roared, its body collapsed. Blood came gushing out of every orifice in its body. It was like countless amounts of volcanoes were all erupting at the same time. Boom! Boom! Tail Fire Beast's giant body fell. It fell into a hot lava sea and sank into it. As many scary creatures were watching this in shock, a light flew out of the lava and came before Han Senator. It was a mysterious spell. It was the mark that had been on Tail Fire Beast's forehead moments before. It represented the burning red sky's will. It was the Sky Leader's mark. Now that it was appearing in front of Han Sen, everyone understood what was happening. Han Sen had replaced Tail Fire Beast to become a new owner of Burning Red Sky. Breakworld Beast hunted. Ultimate Tail Fire Beast. Found Breakworld Gene. An announcement sounded in Han Sen's brain. Han Sen looked at the Sky Leader's mark. He raised his hand and let the mark appear in his palm. The mark blended into his skin. When this was all done, the fires of Burning Red Sky went mad. They did not seek to hurt Han Sen though. It was like the sky and the ground were releasing fireworks in praise. It was as if they were celebrating the birth of a new fire leader. The Geno tablet's video stream ended there. There was a new ranking on the leaderboard. The names on the 15th sky were still glowing. However, Tail Fire Beast's name was no longer there. 15th Sky Leader. Han Sen, that line of words shown in the main and reverse universes. It drew the attention of many creatures. All the races in the Geno universe were happy. Finally, a creature from the Geno universe had obtained the seat of a leader. It was also done by slaying another leader. The Geno universe's creatures were all very happy about this. What a scary man. He only has a break world rate of 60%, and he only used a simple skill to easily kill Tail Fire Beast. Many break world beasts felt conflicted about this. Han Sen's fight gave many weak break-world beasts the hope of being weaker, yet still being able to topple the strong. They also knew that they could not outright do it as Han Sen had. Chapter 3367 A Life of Chaos. Han Sen dug up the tailfire beast's broken body. Its body was riddled with wounds, but it was still crystal like jade. The flesh was like red, burned steel. One was able to see how strong it was. After digging out the break-world gene, he gave the dead body to the small flying fish and small cat. Han Sen swallowed the break-world gene. Tailfire Beast was a break-world beast with a break-world rate of 95% or above. It increased Han Sen's break-world gene tally by 8, so the reward for the effort was not too shabby. Bao'er, this is for you. Han Sen carried Bao'er to a no-man's land. He used his Burning Red Sky leader's power to hide the Burning Red Sky rules. He took out the gourd seed and passed it to Bao'er. Bao'er's eyes opened wide as she looked at Han Sen and the gourd seed he was offering to her. She was confused and asked, "Dad, what is this? Why does this thing give me a familiar feeling? I found it on a gourd vine." "You came from a gourd, so maybe it is related to you." Han Sen did not tell Bao'er about the God Chaos Party's old leader. Although the God Chaos Party leader's soul was gone, telling Bao'er about all that would likely upset her. It was best for him not to say anything. "Thank you, Dad." Bao'er happily accepted the gourd seed. The gourd seed, which looked normal in Han Sen's hands, exhibited weird changes when it was in Bao'er's hands. It was like the seed came alive. It grew fast and quickly became a gourd vine. It surrounded Bao'er. Han Sen did not interfere. He merely watched. If that gourd vine did anything explicitly negative to Bao'er, he would do all that he could to destroy it. As Bao'er subjected herself to the gourd's treatment, she looked very happy. The gourd vine surrounding her kept growing. It was like a living thing that could grow on its own and become a set of vine-wreathed armor cladding Bao'er's body. When the vine armor was composed, the gourd vine started to die. The leaves looked like dust as they fell and scattered. The green vines looked dry. They changed from yellow to brown and from brown to gray and black. As the vine armor kept changing, it became a gray vine armor. It perfectly wrapped up Bao'er's small body. It looked very delicate. It was like it was tailor-made. Bao'er tried to move with it. The vine armor did not affect her movement. It was very light. "This vine armor is interesting. I feel as if I can hear it." Bao'er waved her hand, and the vine armor swam around it. It became a vine hammer. Bao'er kept morphing. The vine armor kept changing into whatever she wished it to be. It turned into a knife, spear, sword, or whip. It could easily become anything like that. It was also able to create a Gatling gun. It made Han Sen freeze. "Bao'er, quit playing around," Han Sen said. "Let's see if this thing actually works." He could not sense a special power in the vine armor. All he could feel was a presence that was quite similar to the black crystal armor. It was, however, a bit different. It was unknown what sort of power resided inside it. This was something the God Chaos Party leader had left behind for her daughter. It was likely something quite special, so Han Sen could not wait to see the true power of the vine armor. Bao'er paused and thought for a moment. She then turned the vine armor into a big vine hammer. She smacked a rock next to her. Pang! The vine hammer smacked the big rock. It made a huge sound. Han Sen's eyes opened wide. He did not open his eyes wide because of the vine hammer's power. The rock was not broken. It bounced the hammer back. Bao'er fell onto her head. She dropped her butt on the ground, and her little head rolled around. She looked dizzy. Holy shit! The God Chaos Party must have tricked us. Why would she leave something that lame behind for her daughter? Han Sen wanted to laugh. Han Sen knew something had to be amiss. God Chaos Party leader would not actually leave something totally useless for her daughter. Bao'er shook her head. She stood up and looked a little bit mad. She lifted the hammer and used even more strength to break the stone in front of her. There was a pang sound. Again, the stone was not affected. The vine hammer flew out of Bao'er's hands. It hit the ground, bounced a few times and stopped moving. Han Sen and Bao'er were frozen. This was the first time they had ever seen such a useless weapon. With Bao'er wielding it as a weapon, Even an ordinary steel sword would make the rock be hewn in two. But the vine hammer did not even leave a mark on it. Bao'er could not help but summon the vine hammer back. She turned it into a knife, sword, spear, and trident. She tested all its forms out, but the results were always the same. The vine, which once looked really powerful, was unable to damage a stone. What is going on with this thing? Hansen knew it might be that Bao'er had not yet found the proper way to use it, so he had Bao'er put it away for further research at another time. Bao'er madly tossed the vine on the ground, but the vines surrounded her again. It became a set of vine armor that wrapped up Bao'er's body. Bao'er, you go back. Without my permission, do not come to the 33 skies again. Hansen picked up Bao'er, Small Cat, and the small flying fish, and readied himself to send them out of the 33 skies. He was the leader of Burning Red Sky. He could take people out of Burning Red Sky whenever he wanted to, which meant he could also leave. Before Hansen left, a scary presence suddenly appeared in Burning Red Sky. The suppression was like hell. It was like a sea. It covered all of Burning Red Sky. Hansen's face changed. He could not see who this person was, but this was a scary suppression. He had not seen this very often. This power indicated that whoever had it was not someone ordinary. When Hansen saw who had arrived, his face changed. One could have said that his face looked very glum. A gold light was coming down from the sky. A blonde lady wearing white, royal clothing appeared. She was like an angel, descending on the land. She was like a holy goddess floating down from the godly realms. Hansen recognized her. She was the blonde Wan'er, but he had turned Wan'er into the black hair variant. He did not know why she was blonde again. Seeing blonde Wan'er and her cold eyes, Hansen knew he was in trouble. Qin Xiu, that asshole. He turned Wan'er into a cold, killing machine again. Does he not know Wan'er is the happiest when she has black hair? Hansen knew Qin Xiu had done something to make Wan'er blonde again. He was very annoyed. At the same time, Hansen no longer felt safe. Mr. White said, I will face bad luck in the 33 skies. Does that disaster have something to do with Wan'er showing up? Chapter 3368 Fighting Wan'er. The blonde Wan'er did not display the slightest flicker of emotion. It was like she was incapable of rendering them. Her eyes were very cold. It was as if she saw nothing. When she looked at Hansen, it was as if her focus wasn't even on him. Wan'er. Hansen gently called out her name, but he could see Wan'er's emotionless face show no difference. He knew blonde Wan'er didn't like him as the black-haired Wan'er did. Wan'er's body was wreathed with gold fire. Her blonde hair was straight. She went from an angel goddess to a scary, demon woman. Hansen was shocked. This time, the blonde Wan'er looked a bit different from how she did before. The power she wielded was still the reverse super god spirit body that had not managed to break the world. Within her reverse super god spirit body, Hansen sensed a familiar power. A power that was highly similar to the black crystal armor. Wan'er peered at Hansen. She then raised her arms like she was wielding a blade of judgment. She immediately slashed toward Hansen. A gold flame came out from her arms like a blade. When it slashed, it was like a gold punishment. It suddenly broke all the rules and landed on Hansen's head. Hansen drew his inch gray sword and used his xenogenic battle body. The inch gray sword's blade struck Wan'er's gold light. It created a scary sonic boom. Hansen clutched his inch gray sword tightly, but he was driven back so that his feet cleaved a trench in the earth 100 miles long. His face changed. Wan'er, what did Qin Xiu do to you? He could tell that the strike Wan'er had just unleashed was not merely the reverse super god spirit body's power. It had a black crystal armor power. With the buffing of the black crystal armor power, Wan'er's reverse super god spirit body had not managed to break the world, but she had a battle power that was far scarier than any break world creature. Even if Tailfire Beast was alive, it would not have been able to withstand this power. Wan'er did not speak. She teleported in front of Hansen like a killing machine, and slashed toward him. Hansen's body exploded with xenogenic battle body power. The inch gray sword was glowing. He tried his hardest to fight Wan'er, but it almost seemed certain that he was going to lose. Wan'er was using her power to fight. This sort of fighting was something that exceeded what Hansen's body could realistically compete with. No one would have been able to gain an advantage. Their fight came to a moment in which their brains no longer had to think. Sword lights and gold lights kept crossing each other. Even though they were using the same skills, Han Sen's strength was no greater than Wan'er's. He was at an obvious disadvantage. However, Han Sen's skills were better than Wan'er's. Despite not being able to win, he used all of his skill to prevent actually losing. He could keep things going, but Han Sen clearly felt that Wan'er's power in the fight was only becoming stronger as time went by. It was like her entire body was showering in the holy, gold light. Every inch of her godly body was releasing godly light. Every time their attacks connected, it was like the volume of her body's glow became brighter. What did Qin Xiu do to her? Why does her body wield the black crystal armor's power? Han Sen strongly asked. He knew the black crystal armor was something truly amazing, but he did not know how to commandeer the black crystal armor and take authorship of it. When the black crystal armor belonged to Han Sen, the only way he could engage xenogenic mode was through its aid. There was one thing weird about that. The black crystal armor's power seemed to work for xenogenic creatures and gene races, but it never really worked much on humans. Even if Han Sen swallowed it, its power did not help him evolve. Its only benefit was helping Han Sen practice the story of genes, and that was it. If the black crystal armor was the one that the God Chaos Party leader mentioned, then why can Qin Xiu use the black crystal armor? Is he really the human alpha the God Chaos Party leader mentioned? Han Sen did not quite understand. Dong. Han Sen blocked Wan'er's next hand slash. He fell back in the air, holding the inch-gray sword as it quivered in response. The impact of that last hit had been far too fierce. In the few minutes their fight had lasted, Wan'er's power seemed to be getting stronger. Her strength was still accelerating. Bao'er, wait for me over there. Han Sen let Bao'er go. He had to use all of his power to engage in this battle. If he did not, the prediction of a disaster befalling him might come true. Bao'er was tossed to the side by Han Senator. The small flying fish and small cat went with her. Bao'er rode the big version of the small flying fish, holding small cat as she observed. Both of Han Sen's hands clutched the handle of the inch-gray sword. His eyes looked as if they were spreading. Under his eyes, the whole world was now a composition of various substances. He used his sword like a knife and used under-the-sky knife skills. Everything was a chess piece with under the sky. Han Sen gave up his reaction to the fight. His brain started spinning like crazy. Swords and humans and the ground and the sky, were all becoming one. The person was in the game using themselves as a base to affect the entire situation. Han Sen's knife skills looked messed up. After all, Han Sen's knife did not seem to go for Wan'er's weak spots. The many traces and movements he made looked weird. A commoner would have thought that Han Sen was just messing around. This knife skill was in the 33 skies. Qin Xiu was watching and said, "Interesting knife skills, but this knife skill can only block once. He cannot defeat Wan'er. Our grudge is something best resolved through Wan'er's participation." While he was talking, Qin Xiu's eyes followed Wan'er's left hand. She was wearing a black crystal ring on her left pinky. It was releasing some mysterious light. Han Sen's hand had the inch-gray sword mid-swing. It was unknown how many times he had slashed at this point. He suddenly fell back and departed the battleground with his sword slashing forward like mad. Boom. Burning red skies fires exploded. Countless flames started to ravage. It became many different fire knives that were crazily going toward Wan'er. Wan'er's eyes froze. Her gold light exploded. All of the fire knives became gold light air. But there were too many fire knives. The sky and the earth became a river of fire that kept going for Wan'er without reprieve. The fire knives that were destroyed quickly returned to endlessly assault Wan'er. Read latest chapters at Wuxia World. Sight only. Han Sen's under the sky knife skills reached the max. The permission to be Burning Red Sky's leader reached the max. An infinite fire knife river madly attacked. With as much obscene power as she had, even Wan'er was getting grounded amidst the river of knives. The gold light dimmed. Upon seeing Wan'er's gold light start to dim, the fire knife river became crazier. Han Sen's face did not get better. On this day, he was feeling very restless. He just did not know where this sense of restlessness came from. Catcha. A fire knife air broke the gold light that carried Wan'er. It slashed through Wan'er's shoulder. Chapter 3369 Black crystal rainblood was everywhere. Wan'er's shiny god body had a small blood mark. Suddenly, fire knife airs were coming down to cover the sky and ground to break the gold light that was protecting Wan'er's body. Many knife airs cut her clothes to impart many small marks on her body. Although the wounds were not that deep, the fire knife airs were countless in their numbers. More knife airs came raining down, making Wan'er suffer many big hits. She looked more and more wounded as time went by. There was blood on her snow-white, royal-like clothing. The blood looked like flowers. Seeing Wan'er's super god spirit body be ripped, Han Sen started to feel a bit unsettled. Without really thinking about it, he found himself clutching the inch gray sword tighter. He stared at Wan'er, hoping to see something. Before Han Sen could see anything, Wan'er's body looked as if it had just been vaporized. The fire knife airs went through her body. Wan'er's shadow went through the sea of fire to appear in front of Han Sen. All her wounds were healed, and her clothes were fine. It was as if she had not been harmed at all. A hand like a knife came slicing down. Wan'er's shadow had become solid again. But Han Sen was prepared. The inch gray sword was swung. It slashed down and collided with Wan'er's hand. Dong! The inch gray sword and Wan'er's hand crashed into each other. The indestructible inch gray sword was unable to cut Wan'er's skinny jade hand that wielded a gold light. Upon their collision, the two of their hits made a golden jade sound. Han Sen felt as if there was some unstoppable power coming at him very quickly. It made his body fall back into space. His body broke through a lot of blockages and created some kind of air explosion. The force of air exploded all of his clothes, revealing his muscular body. That power was super god spirit body power. Han Sen's eyes looked as if they were on fire. He looked at Wan'er as she adopted a shadow that did not look at all different from Han Sen's own super god spirit body. It was not the skill that was the reverse super god spirit body. Wan'er has not been able to break the world. So how can she use the super god spirit body power? Han Sen did not understand. Wan'er did not give him time to think. She was already slashing toward Han Sen again. He waved his sword to fight back. Wan'er's body became a shadow again. She got close to Han Sen and became solid again. She slashed toward his neck again. Han Sen seemed to have prepared for this. He entered his own super god spirit mode, which made his body become a light shadow that could evade Wan'er's slash. Blood spilled like crazy. Han Sen's neck was delivered a bloody mark. His super god spirit body did not dodge Wan'er's hand slash. Luckily, Han Sen was just trying this. He was able to dodge the brunt of the attack. She was unable to hit anywhere important. Otherwise, if that slash had been able to unleash its full capacity on him, Han Sen's head would have definitely been lopped off. This is wrong. This is so wrong. Why can Wan'er switch between Super God Spirit mode and the reverse Super God Spirit mode on a whim, if she has been unable to break the world? Han Sen moved quickly. He kept evading Wan'er's attacks while thinking. Wan'er, who was able to switch between the two powers freely, had become stronger. On top of that, two of her powers were strong enough to resist Han Sen's own Super God Spirit mode. Han Sen's situation had definitely taken a turn for the worse. Seeing Wan'er slash again, Han Sen had nowhere to fall back to. There was a subtle glint of coldness under Han Sen's eyelids. The presence of his body changed. There was a very primal, scary power coming out of his body. It generated a sword light on the inch gray sword. It carried a destructive power that was unleashed in Wan'er's direction. The reverse version of the story of Gene's power was the scariest type of destructive power there was. With the indestructible inch gray sword and Han Sen's super spank skill, this was going to be the greatest and most powerful attack Han Sen had ever cast. Ketcha! The inch gray sword struck Wan'er's hand like a saw striking metal. Sparks erupted everywhere, scattering light all around. If one looked closer, one would notice where the inch gray sword was. It was not actually Wan'er's hand. Han Sen had aimed at the black crystal ring she was wearing. Han Sen had been watching Wan'er quite a bit. He sensed something was wrong with her. In the end, he decided to lock onto that ring. Although the ring had never revealed its presence, Hansen knew for sure there had to be something wrong with it. Eventually, the black crystal ring was broken by the sword power unleashed via Hansen's inch-gray sword. It fell off of Qin Wan'er's finger. It was split in two. When the black crystal ring shattered and broke, Qin Wan'er looked shocked. She stood where she was in shock. The gold light around her started to go dim. Her blonde hair started to look black. Was it discovered so soon? Oh well. That is fine. He is someone Wan'er is close to. Maybe he knows that already. Qin Xiu spoke to himself, but his eyes did not shift. It was like he had already expected Hansen to break the black crystal ring. Mister, should we open the portal and take Miss Wan'er back? Sky King came before Qin Xiu and bowed. After Wan'er entered Burning Red Sky, she did not trigger the Sky Theft fight sequence. Sky King used his 33 Sky's spirit body and power to send Wan'er to Burning Red Sky. Aside from Qin Xiu and Sky King, only the people in Burning Red Sky could witness the events unfolding in Burning Red Sky. No, Qin Xiu coldly said. He was still staring at the spirit mirror Sky King had opened. He peered into Burning Red Sky. Hansen watched the blonde Wan'er turn back into the black-haired Wan'er. He was feeling happy. Suddenly, the black crystal ring, which had been broken, arose. It did so with a cloud of black smoke. It became a black smoke that drifted toward Wan'er. Run! Hansen's eyes and hands were swift. He palmed the black smoke. The hollow structure of the ice jade field blocked the black smoke's approach. Pang! In the next second, the black smoke broke the ice jade shield. It went in front of Wan'er and drilled into her mouth. Hansen's looked glum, but it did not seem as if there was anything he could do to stop it. He stopped hesitating and slashed toward Wan'er's neck. He wanted to stop this entire thing before the black smoke reached her belly. Wan'er was frozen. Her body strangely fell back. Her movements were very weird. Her body did not move. She went backward like a ghost. As she slid, Hansen missed with his inch-gray sword. When Hansen looked at Wan'er's face, he noticed her eyes were entirely black. She looked scarier than any ghost possibly could. She looked far scarier than the eye color she had before when she was blonde. Hansen gripped the inch-gray sword. He wanted to swing the sword and attack, but he saw Wan'er sprout two god lights from her back. It tore the clothes on her back like a flying butterfly. Those two gold and silver god lights were like two wings spreading behind Wan'er's body. They created a scary spirit light. Super God Spirit Body and Reverse Super God Spirit Body exist in the same body, but she has not been able to break the world. Yet there is no conflict. How is something like this even possible? Hansen looked at Wan'er's sky-shocking skylight wings. His eyes narrowed. Chapter 3372 Break World Methods. Wan'er was adorned with shocking skylight wings. Because of those light wings, one part of her body was shining with a gold aura, whereas the other half of her body was white like ice. Her eyes, which had been overtaken by black pupils, were now staring at Han Senator. They looked weirdly ghost-like. Is Qin Xiu mad? What did he do to Wan'er? Hansen frowned. Based on the way Qin Xiu supposedly loved Wan'er, the man should not have done anything that would negatively impact Wan'er. What was happening to Wan'er now was far too weird. He could not think of a reason as to why Qin Xiu would turn Wan'er into something like this. Hansen did not know that since he had turned Wan'er into the black-haired mode, Wan'er had been missing Hansen a lot. She consistently spoke highly about Hansen in his absence. Qin Xiu did not say anything about it to her. He remained very gentle toward Wan'er, but he still used some intense methods to make her revert to her blonde mode. Qin Xiu was going to finish Hansen off, so that he could be the sole recipient of Wan'er's love. He was unable to accept her holding someone else more important than him in their heart. Wan'er was now floating in the air. The back of her wings were shaking. She put her hands together. She looked like a praying angel. Wan'er's face had no depiction of faith or liveliness. She stared at Hansen and looked at him in an extremely cold way. When she put her hands together, a strange sort of light manifested. It did not belong to her super god spirit body or her reverse super god spirit body. Is that a break world power? That does not seem right. Hansen looked at Wan'er's hands and felt a weird power moving. After his super god spirit body managed to break the world, It had become a pure super spirit god body that could not break anything in the world. He would, however, not receive damage from anything in the world. The power in Wan'er's hands was not a spirit power. Even so, it still had elements of the super god spirit body's power, and elements of the reverse super god spirit body's power. Does a super god spirit body have another way of breaking the world? Hansen looked at Wan'er's hands with intrigue. Her hands, he noted, were strongly glowing. This power was almost transparent, but it was not a spirit power. Upon looking at Wan'er's hands, he saw that there was a transparent sort of power rising. After her hands adopted this sort of transparent power, they turned crystal clear. When the transparent power started to spread, her entire body, including the light wings behind her, took on the form of transparent crystals. Wan'er now looked like a transparent crystal statue. It was only her eyes that were different. They had remained black. If one did not look closer, one would have thought she was just a pair of strange black eyes floating in the air. It was only after looking closer that would one see her body was transparent. Does the super god spirit body have another way of breaking the world? Hansen was incredibly shocked by what he was witnessing. Wan'er was breaking the world, and she was breaking the world in a completely different way. The two of them had both used a super god spirit body to break the world. Yet two different super god spirit powers were created. Hansen did not know if his super god spirit body's break world power was correct, or if it was hers. Either way, Wan'er was releasing a scary presence that put Hansen on high alert. When Wan'er parted her hands, Hansen felt a flare of goosebumps overwhelm his body. He quickly sensed that something bad was going to happen. He did not hesitate. He immediately engaged his super god spirit body's break world mode. He put on his break world body. In the next moment, Hansen saw Wan'er's hand on his chest. She was so fast that he had been unable to dodge her move. Hansen was watching that nearly transparent, weird hand thrust through his chest. It went right through his body. When Wan'er pulled back her hand, Hansen noticed a hole had been created in his spirit body. He had been severely damaged. Her break world power can even deal harm to my pure spirit body. Hansen quickly moved his body. While he was moving, the damaged spirit body reverted to normal. Wan'er looked at Hansen weirdly. In the next moment, her strange body moved again. This time, Hansen was prepared. He peered at her body with an intense gaze, hoping to be able to predict her next attack. Even so, when Wan'er raised her hand, it once again fired through Hansen's body. Hansen now knew that he couldn't avoid Wan'er's attacks. He ignored his damaged spirit body, gathered up all of his power, and tried to throw a punch at Wan'er's strange body. Hansen felt his fist thrust into what felt like liquid. There was so much resistance that it was like he was punching a rock. When his fist went inside Wan'er's body, he felt that her body was very soft. It was even boneless. It was like he had shoved his fist into water. Boom. Hansen wanted to pull his fist back out and try to attack other parts of Wan'er's body, but he suddenly felt as if he had been electrified. His spirit body was numb and paralyzed. He then felt a force of suction grip him by the fist. He could not draw his fist out of Wan'er's body. The strangest part about all of this was that Wan'er seemed to be in the same condition as Hansen. Her body was shaking as if she was being electrified. Her hand, which had been forced through Hansen's chest, could not be withdrawn. As Qin Xiu watched this scene, his expression became very strange. He asked aloud, "What is happening here?" Hansen's break world power and Wan'er's break world power has created a weird rhythm. Not even Qin Xiu knew what was going on. He had taken the black crystal ring from the black crystal armor. He used the black crystal ring's gene prototype's power to make Wan'er break the world. After Wan'er managed to break the world, she was exceptionally strong. Not even Qin Xiu would have dared underestimate what she was now capable of. He thought Wan'er could defeat Hansen easily without any trouble. Who would have expected that Hansen's break world power would create a rhythm alongside Wan'er's break world power, and that this was also going to affect Wan'er? She was just like Hansen. She had been robbed of her ability to fight. Sky King opened the path to burning red sky. Qin Xiu did not want Wan'er to experience any danger. He gave up on the idea of letting Wan'er deal with Hansen. He was going to go to burning red sky to deal with Hansen himself. Before Sky King was able to answer, Something weird started happening in burning red sky. Han Sen and Wan'er's bodies were combining. They were both in front of each other, but their bodies drew closer until they started merging. Face to face like Siamese twins, their bodies kept merging. Chapter 3371 Fighting Qin Xiu. Before Qin Xiu was able to go to burning red sky, Han Sen and Wan'er's bodies had completely combined to become a new person. The process of their two bodies merging seemed to be painful. They raised their heads and roared as it happened. Their bodies released scary powers that suddenly ripped space. They themselves went into space and disappeared. Where did they go? Qin Xiu looked at Sky King with an unhappy gaze. He was more than glum. Sky King's heart jumped. The spirit mirror began to display strange changes. They were no longer in burning red sky. They were actually in another sky. He finally saw Han Sen, who had just combined with the woman. His body broke space and started to soar through many skies. He was racing through the 33 skies. The barriers that separated the 33 skies no longer seemed to exist. They were unable to stop the penetration of that scary body. Within a moment, Han Sen and Wan'er's combined body came before the Geno tablet of the 33 skies. He used his body to pass the 33rd sky. Even the leader in the 33rd sky could not do something like that. Qin Xiu was in front of the Geno tablet. He looked at the transparent body that had been breaking through space to get there. He was trying to find out which of the two souls belonged to Wan'er. Qin Xiu. A transparent body came before Qin Xiu. It appeared and quickly disappeared. It was similar to a flickering light. It was like it was going to be extinguished yet remain gone forever. Wan'er, please speak to me. It pains me to see you endure all this. Qin Xiu looked at the body and asked, Wan'er? Oh Wan'er, are you still there? I am. The transparent body seemed to be wrestling with pain. It held its hair and roared. It was going crazy. It threw its fist into the sky. A transparent power exploded in the air. It turned into an invisible shockwave, and it was spreading everywhere. It was destroying everything, including the life souls. Sky King was the first to be affected by the power. With his nearly 100% break world rate, not even he was able to withstand that power. His body was ripped to pieces. He was going to vanish alongside his soul. Boom. Qin Xiu stepped away. The black crystal armor swiftly clad him as he appeared before Sky King. A hand reached out. It was like an invisible wall was coming out of his hands to block the shockwave. Han Sen's will started to control the combined body. He saw Qin Xiu and did not hesitate. He threw a punch forward. An invisible power teleported in front of Qin Xiu. The fist struck Qin Xiu's black crystal armor, making his body slide away. Qin Xiu's face changed. Ever since he had successfully controlled the black crystal armor, he had never been able to feel what it was like for a damaging power to touch him. The strength of Han Sen and Wan'er combined surprised him. Before Qin Xiu was able to do anything, Han Sen waved his hand and attacked. He felt as if his entire body was brimming with explosive power. It was like one punch was enough to break the sky and the earth. Qin Xiu froze. He moved his hand and blocked Han Sen's own. Han Sen's body was like a killing machine. He looked at Qin Xiu and used a crazy storm-style attack. Almost every part of his body could do incredible damage, including his finger, hand, fist, elbow, and knees. Any one of those attacks was able to destroy an average God Spirit elite, but these attacks were still able to be blocked by Qin Xiu's hands. His hands were like a wall that was unable to be broken. No matter how strong Han Sen's attacks were, they were insufficient in making him fall back. Qin Xiu, however, could only defend and not attack. Even so, it gave him the chance to watch Han Senator because his body was not entirely Han Sen since Wan'er was still somewhere inside. Qin Xiu did not want to attack. Han Sen, on the other hand, did not care. He felt his body power was exploding. He was like a volcano that could erupt at any second. If he did not release the power he had now, he felt as if he was going to blow up. Plus, he was starting to feel as if there was a power encouraging him. It made him really want to break the black crystal armor. It was like a moth drawn to a fire. Qin Xiu kept blocking Han Sen's attacks and coldly said, Hansen, leave Wan'er's body alone, and I will permit you to live. Hansen did not say anything in response. He felt as if the power that came from his body was enough to melt his own body. He had to keep going. He had to keep fighting so that he could release the power and make his body feel better. Pang! He landed another punch on Qin Xiu's hand. This time the power sent Qin Xiu back half a step. The black crystal armor developed a swirl on it. Qin Xiu frowned. The power of Hansen and Wan'er combined was already greater than he expected it to be. When Hansen attacked again, Qin Xiu moved. He evaded Hansen's fist and appeared behind him. He grabbed Hansen by the neck with his arms. He used a scary power to immobilize Hansen's body. His foe was unable to move. Qin Xiu was behind Hansen, coldly talking to him. I demand that you leave Wan'er's body now. This is the last chance I am willing to give you. Otherwise, I will end your life. Really? Hansen's body flashed away. He vanished from the area, which resulted in Qin Xiu's power being thrown wide. When Hansen's body appeared again, he was above Qin Xiu's head. His legs were like a bat leaks striking down. Qin Xiu raised his hands to block Hansen's strike. A scary power created a swirl in space. The universal cogwheels were broken by the destruction. Hansen's body kept flickering. When he vanished, Qin Xiu's power could no longer lock onto him. The two of them fought like mad. The 33 skies kept shaking. Aside from the Geno tablet, there were no substances that could withstand their attacks. Hansen knew Qin Xiu's power was scary, but he did not expect him to be that terrifying. He and Wan'er had combined. The power that exploded was greater than what he had. Qin Xiu still seemed fine dealing with it though. Hansen even found himself thinking that if it was not for Qin Xiu's fear concerning Wan'er's welfare, his situation would have been much worse. In fact, Hansen did not know Qin Xiu was actually feeling more shocked than he was. Qin Xiu was strong, but the reason he was so strong was because of the black crystal armor. The combined body of Hansen and Wan'er was just pure body power, and it was now fighting him. Qin Xiu understood that when he was at his strongest, he could not be like that. This kind of body power is able to make the first step by using the body. Qin Xiu's eyes looked cold. If that power belonged to Wan'er, Qin Xiu was willing to give up. He would have done anything to help Qin Wan'er. Now half of the power belonged to Hansen, who had asserted control of the body. When Qin Xiu thought of that, his eyes turned even colder. Chapter 3372 Geno Prototype Armor. Qin Xiu's body was like a ghost. Hansen's attacks were like thunder. They created a storm all around. Even so, the rage was unable to move Qin Xiu. Since he was wrapped up by the black armor, it was like he was walking around extinguishing Hansen's attacks and rendering them absolutely futile. Although Hansen moved his weird body to the max, he was unable to achieve breakthrough success. He was still unable to deal damage to Qin Xiu. Qin Xiu's eyes looked frozen. The black crystal armor became smaller. His hands were thrust into the sky. The black crystal armor that wrapped up his fists started to produce a black halo. Pang! Hansen emerged from the nothingness. He was punched in the chest. That punch made Hansen stumble back, but he was not injured by it. Beneath the force of that punch, the black crystal armor that clad Qin Xiu's fist actually cracked. It was like it had adopted a new life. It was becoming many black crystal shards. They locked onto Hansen with the intent to pepper him with holes. Suddenly, Hansen's body was wrapped up by black crystal pieces. Hansen wanted to rush out and escape the black crystal armor's binding technique. Despite being a shadow, his body was unable to escape the black crystal armor's trap. Qin Xiu looked at the prison armor and spoke to Han Sr. It is pointless. This Geno armor was created by a Geno prototype. The gene messages of the entire world are in here. The power of the entire world resides within it. In this world, there exists no type of power that can prove a threat to it. Hansen did not believe what he was being told. He kept using his powers to try and escape. Despite the strength he exerted, the black crystal armor was unaffected. The power that was able to destroy the sky and the earth was just a wave upon a sea for the black crystal armor. It was the same black crystal armor, but Hansen did not feel the black crystal armor was the same one he used to own. Hansenaduro. Han Senator ever a pest, aren't you? But aren't I ever gracious? Qin Xiu coldly said. I am going to make you that offer one more time, and I recommend that you take it. It is far greater than you deserve. Why don't you remove yourself from your weird connection with Wan'er, and let her body be free? Do that, and I can allow you to live. You think you know me, but I can assure you that you don't. I have never accepted a life that is given through the mercy of others. I never have, and I never will. Han Sen's power kept exploding. His power was becoming stronger. The black crystal armor that wrapped him up became bigger, but it never fell away from him. Qin Xiu coldly said, I have already told you that the Geno prototype is the origin of the world. The power that exists in this world, no matter how much your power changes, comes from this. You cannot overcome this power. There are only two powers that can affect it. One power enables a reboot of the universe, which is something only a reboot class God Spirit can do. Even if your break world rate reaches 100%, you cannot be a reboot class God Spirit and enable a universe reboot. Even if the universe reboots, you cannot break the Geno prototype. There is a power inside it that transcends the world. It is something greater than the world. You need something greater than that to break the Geno prototype. It is a shame no one possesses such a power. Han Sen did not speak. He just wanted to madly explode his power. He felt his body surge with many powerful powers. For some reason, he could not express them. Qin Xiu saw that Han Sen was refusing to speak, so he started to look mean. He stopped talking. He put his hand on Han Sen's head, which made the black crystal armor develop a black and weird light. Qin Xiu looked into Han Sen's eyes and spoke each word sternly. Leave Wan'er's body. This is your last chance. Only Han Sen's power answered him. His black crystal armor was bloated. It made a law sound. Even so, it still imprisoned his body. Qin Xiu did not speak. His eyes looked strange. The black crystal armor had a weird substance chain light. It made the black crystal armor, which was wrapping up Han Sen, start to flicker. The black crystal armor that wrapped up Han Sen became smaller. It trapped Han Sen's body. It made Han Sen feel as if countless needles were pricking him deep within his nerves. It was like all these needles were madly sucking the substances out of him. You used to have the Geno prototype armor, Qin Xiu coldly said. It is such a shame you were never able to become its master. You will never know its true power. Let me show you its power now. Han Sen finally spoke. No matter how grand this Geno prototype armor is, it is not your work. How can you speak so boisterously? Qin Xiu coldly laughed. It looks like you already know where this Geno prototype armor comes from. Yes, this Geno prototype armor belonged to the God Chaos Party's old leader. It is the greatest armor to ever exist in the entire universe. With this armor, the God Chaos Party leader was able to battle the Geno Hall. It could have even allowed him to be above the Geno Hall. God Chaos Party leader depended on the Geno tablet, Han Sen said. It looks like what you truly know is quite limited, Qin Xiu said. The Geno tablet is an item designed to replace the Geno Hall. It is powerful, but it was never meant to be used by one person. It was a tool used to control the main and reverse universes. It is a sign of power. I see. Han Sen felt the power in his body be taken by the black crystal armor. This kind of action did not actually drain his power. It made him feel how strong his body was. After the power was sucked away, it made the power inside his body become vast. It was sort of like an endless sea. Qin Xiu's body of black crystal armor flickered with the lights of a mysterious spell. The spell kept appearing like countless codes flickering. Qin Xiu's eyes looked very evil. He wanted to steal Han Sen's gene message and remove it from his body. That way, only Wan'er would remain. This was the black crystal armor's unique power. Aside from the black crystal armor, there was no other power that could analyze the gene messages of creatures. Only the black crystal armor could do this. After Qin Xiu took Han Sen's gene messages, the power of the black crystal armor kept calculating. It did not stop. How is that possible? Qin Xiu was shocked. The Geno prototype armor was a gene base for the universe. Even the genes of spirits resided within it. It could not just analyze the gene message of a creature. Even the whole evolution of a race could be seen by it. Now the Geno prototype armor was still madly analyzing. It was like Han Sen had too many body messages. It was going to be overloaded. They still could not analyze things. What is wrong with this body? Why has such a scary gene been created through the combination of Han Sen and Wan'er's body? Qin Xiu looked at the trapped Han Sen with conflicted emotions. Chapter 33 73 Accidents Happen. Qin Xiu started to frown. His face looked miserable. As he did so, he felt something stir and jump in the middle of his soul. By all accounts, it made Qin Xiu's face look even more unpleasant. Damn it! The black crystal armor on Qin Xiu's body was madly spinning. It was uncontrollable. Catcha! There were cracks all over Han Sen's armor. Within them, a familiar power existed. It is her. Han Sen was able to sense what that familiar power was. It was the presence he experienced when he had the Geno prototype armor. When that will went to Han Sen's black crystal armor, the black crystal armor that surrounded Han Sen kept exuding a weird sort of power. It turned into something that could help Han. Senator Han Sen was very happy about this. He quickly gathered power and threw a punch at Qin Xiu ahead of him. Qin Xiu accepted the strike, which sent his body flying through the air and into space. His body flew back 400 miles before it started to descend. Qin Xiu froze. He looked at Han Sen with a look of disbelief. Rather, he was not even really looking at Han Senator. He was looking at the black crystal armor Han Sen was wearing. Chaos, did you give up fighting me with the Geno prototype for him? Qin Xiu looked shocked as he stopped all movements. He started to look mad. He stared at Han Sen and the black crystal armor. Han Sen's black crystal armor disassembled. After it fell off of him, it recomposed itself. It rebuilt itself as a bodiless black crystal armor that seemed more fitting for a woman. The black crystal armor was now the same as the one Han Sen knew in the beginning, except the armor now looked livelier. The woman in the black crystal armor looked at Qin Xiu and said, "Oh, you are the worst villain I have ever had the displeasure of dealing with. Your actions never make any sense. And you just force your way into places you shouldn't belong, raising the stupid stakes. After everything, now you're just moaning and moaning. Why are you moaning? Isn't this what you wanted? Haven't you always wanted this and everything going on in this place? Well, now you have it." After that, the woman in the black crystal armor looked at Han Sen and commented, "Han Sen, would you look at that? We meet again. Are you the leader of the God Chaos Party?" Although Han Sen already knew her identity, he still asked the question. "I am Chaos," she said. "You have my will. You have seen the remnant of my soul. You should already know me." Han Sen wished to say something. Before he could, Chaos went on to say, "Now is not the time for talk. You and I should kill him now. If we do this now, it will be the best chance we have." Before Han Sen said anything, Qin Xiu was already coldly saying, "Chaos, you relinquished your control of the Geno prototype. Do you really think you can beat me with your measly amount of power?" "I can't, but together we can," Chaos said. Her body went to Han Senator. The black crystal armor wrapped up Han Sen's body. As the black crystal armor wrapped up Han Sen, Chaos' voice was in Han Sen's brain. "Let me handle your body. This body has an incredible amount of power. With my control power, along with using this body, we can kill Qin Xiu, who has the Geno prototype armor. That way, we can prevent the need for Bao'er to fight him." "Sure. What do you need me to do?" Han Sen had no doubts about letting Chaos do what was needed to protect Bao'er. "Just let your body go. Allow me to control all of this." Chaos's voice echoed through Han Sen's brain again. Han Sen's body madly shook. It combined with the black crystal armor. The black armor suddenly looked transparent like Han Sen's body did. It was like a diamond glowing with a god light. Han Sen felt his will clearly. He could control his body, but his body was also being controlled by a different will. That felt particularly amazing. It was like playing a video game when one used two controllers to control one character. Even so, it was a bit different from that. Han Sen was not controlling anything, but he felt everything the body was feeling. Qin Xiu seemed to sense he was now a major threat. He looked very serious. The black crystal armor's power started to spin and push his power to the max. Ah, chaos. Tut-tut-tut, chaos. You silly, silly girl. You naughty, naughty girl. You always were bold, but I fear I have always held you in higher regard than you deserve. It turns out you are pretty naive if you think that petty body has what it takes to defeat me and the Geno prototype I look awesome wearing. Qin Xiu's body grew stronger. Space around was affected by his power, and it all started to twist. Countless weird scenes were around him, creating something like a mirage. Chaos coldly said, "You are the naive one. I created the Geno prototype armor. No one can understand it more than I, but you do not know how scary this body is." So what? Even if your body is really strong, do you really think he can break through the last stage? Qin Xiu looked at her with disdain. Everything is possible, Chaos coldly said. She then stepped forward. Her step made it seem like the whole world was following her feet. That transparent power was going for Qin Xiu. You created the Geno prototype armor, but there is only one person who can push its power to the max. That person is me. Qin Xiu looked cold. He did not falter or take a step back. His body surged with an incredible black power. The two powers collided in the 33rd sky. The whole of the 33rd sky became a half-black and a half-transparent weird world. You are right, Chaos said. Only you can push the power of the Geno prototype armor to the max, but it is a shame you have not achieved that yet. You have the Geno prototype armor, but your body is not reboot class yet. You yourself have not made that last step. So, today you will only die. You will not be reincarnated. She took another step forward. Catcha. The half-black world started to collapse and break when Chaos stepped forward. Chaos kept walking toward Qin Xiu. With every step she took, the black power collapsed a lot. Qin Xiu's power kept exploding, but he could not prevent Chaos from walking forward. How is that possible? Is there a body that can take such steps? Qin Xiu's face started to change, but he suddenly smiled again. He said to himself, "It is no wonder this is Wan'er." Qin Xiu die. Chaos was not going to permit Qin Xiu to have another chance. She stepped forward. All of the dark power collapsed. Qin Xiu's black crystal armor displayed many cracks. It looked like it could collapse at any second. Chaos's fist was being thrust toward Qin Xiu's skull. It felt like the whole world relied on that one punch. It carried an incredible power. Qin Xiu was suppressed by the power of the whole world, but his body was still standing very straight. He had no fear. He smiled and closed his eyes. Chaos, to be able to kill me, it won't be you. Only Wan'er can kill me in this world. I owe her that much. Just die already. Chaos did not move. The punch was still madly going toward him. When Chaos's punch was about to hit Qin Xiu's head, it suddenly stopped. Chaos's body started to shake. Oh no! Han Sen sensed what was going on. It was Wan'er's will. The body did not just belong to Han Senator, it belonged to Wan'er too, who was Qin Xiu's little sister. This girl had given up so much for Qin Xiu, so she was not going to let her body be the one to kill Qin Xiu. You're tuning into the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.